Hello, everybody. Welcome. Everybody here tonight. It's been a rough 24 hours for the community. But we're gonna be here together tonight, and we're not gonna talk tonight. We're not gonna talk a whole lot about what's been going on. But it's just some very shocking things about a fellow creator that we all know very well, called Friend. Just some very disturbing things came to light over the past 24 hours, and probably like most of you, I'm still trying to just work through I've run through the gamut of emotions about 20 times, and since yesterday. Didn't sleep a whole lot last night, but so I hope everybody's doing well, taking care of yourself, taking care of your mental health. Like I said, we're not going to get into a whole lot of it tonight, but I do plan on, because I was planning on doing a live stream Wednesday night anyway. So probably Wednesday night we will get more into what is going on. And for anybody who may not be aware, just it's regarding Arctic Fox. Just go on YouTube and just Google his name, and there are all sorts of videos and things that have been put up by other channels. So just go and just trigger warning is all. Speaking of which, I always forget to put up my banner. There we go. It's just very disturbing, very disheartening, very shocking, like I said, the whole gamut of emotions. But tonight, we're going to concentrate on why we're here. This is our weekly missing person Monday live stream, and I apologize ahead of time for being all out of sorts. I'm sure you guys understand, hopefully. But we're going to concentrate tonight, which is our featuring our missing persons. Like I said, Wednesday we will explore different topics. But I just appreciate everybody being here tonight. This is a safe space. So yeah, we're here together. We'll make it through together. Bring awareness to some missing persons. And tonight we're going to be featuring cases. We've been going back through all the states, featuring missing persons from a specific city in each state. And tonight we're doing Boise, Idaho. I think, I don't know. I'm not sure of anything right now, but I believe it's Boise, Idaho. And I think I remember to upload my slideshow. So I think I've got about five or six cases that we'll be going over. So let me see who is here. And I tried to flash a lot of comments up during the opening, during the intro. But Chris is here. Always good to see you, my friend. Hello, Miss Barb. Always good to see you. I hope you're doing okay. Klein is here from Missing Black People They're Forgotten. It's always good to have Klein here. Please do check out the channel. He does fantastic work over there. And it's been a long time since I've seen Klein on YouTube, and I've seen him post on Facebook Messenger, because I'm in the Facebook Messenger group thing, whatever that is, on a Facebook Messenger with him, but or with the Missing Black People They're Forgotten. But he showed up. I can't remember. Maybe it was Ms. Z's, Child Junkies United, or maybe Josh's. I saw him in the chat the other night, and I was like, "There's Klein. I haven't seen him in a while." I think it was Child Junkies United. But anyway, he says Klein says, "Hello, everyone. I'll be in and out. Got a few things to do in between." Absolutely understandable. See who else is here. Hello, Stormy, my dear. Good to see you. Patriotism is here. Good to see you always. Just don't want to miss anybody. I know there's some more. I'm trying to make my way through the comments as usual. I don't know who you're talking about. Let me know if you're talking about me. You can contact me through email, or if you're on Facebook Messenger. I don't know if you're talking to me or not. I've lost track of the comments here. Miss Louise is here. Hello, Miss Louise. Always good to see you, my dear. Did I say hi to Chris? Yeah, I think Chris was first. Miss Paula is here. Hello, Paula. Good to see you. Mustang. Did I mention you? I'm sorry. I'm all messed up here tonight. Always good to see Mustang. I might be repeating myself. I just don't want to miss anybody. There's Junior. Hello, Junior. I hope you're doing well, sir. I can't get comfortable in my chair tonight here. Anyway, always good to see Junior. Welcome, sir. I hope you're doing well. There is Josh. Hello, Josh. How are you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, and I felt so bad because Josh was doing his live stream, which I was trying to kind of watch it while I was working. Was it a Sunday afternoon? And when all this stuff started breaking, this news started coming out, and Josh's live stream kind of got hijacked by that. But I mean, so I'm gonna go back and rewatch what I missed when I was while I was trying to work in between watching the live stream. But please do check out Josh at Where Lavender Grows. He does excellent work. And I apologize once again for the stuffy and nasally. The allergies are running wild as usual. And I just hope thoughts and prayers to everybody who's been affected by all the storms and the nasty weather that's been going around the last couple of days. I know seeing Junior, I know Michigan got hit pretty hard. Oklahoma got hit pretty hard. Actually, there was an EF2 tornado confirmed in Arkansas. I can't remember exactly where it was. It wasn't around. I'm in Central Arkansas. It wasn't around here, but yeah, it was confirmed EF2, which is about the size of a few years ago. The town I live in got hit by a tornado when they came and did their survey. It was deemed to be EF2, so it is nothing to play around with. Nothing to play around with. It's very scary. Let me see. And I think a big thank you to everybody who has reached out to me on Discord. And I meant to get Discord up, and because I hardly ever get on Discord. I always forget about it. I'm so bad at I'm bad at remembering to check my email. I'm bad at remembering to check Discord, but I did have several people after all this things started happening. All this news came out. People reached out to me on Discord, and I appreciate you so much. So I've been trying to reach out to other people. People have been reaching out. We've been reaching out to each other on Facebook Messenger, just making sure everybody's okay and dealing, and But anyway, so I appreciate everybody who has checked in. I hope everybody, once again, please take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. Take care of you. So very important. But anyway, I was going to say I was going to bring up a Discord on my computer so I could get an invite link to post in the chat. So anybody who has Discord that is not on my Discord channel can join it. That way, it's another way to get in touch with me, aside from email. Yeah, very heartbreaking. I agree. Yeah, like I said, Wednesday we'll get more into what has been going on. But like I said, Mondays are always dedicated to the missing, bringing awareness to the missing, and I debated, and I did do a community post kind of explaining everything, and like a lot of you guys have done, just trying to express our shock and our feelings and of what was going on. So you can just check out my community post. Like I said, we will get into it more probably Wednesday night. Anyway, but yes, it's been very, very hard, very tough, very tough. Yeah, Stormy says it's understandable. I think we were all shocked. Absolutely. Yeah, never in a million years would I've ever, like I said, I don't want to get started on it because tonight is missing person night. But anyway, we'll get into it. But I understand what everybody is saying, and understand how everybody is feeling and things of that nature. Thank you, Mustang. I appreciate you more than you know. Yeah, Josh said he was out of sorts yesterday. Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely fine. Stormy says, I can't stay all night, but I'm here for a bit. Thank you, ma'am. As long as I'm always appreciative of just however, whoever shows up and watches, and however long you can stay is fine. It's always Replay Crew. And before I forget, thank you to the Replay Crew. Replay Crew is awesome. So please, if you are watching Replay, if you're Replay Crew, please leave me a comment down below to let me know that you are a Replay Crew. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that, sir. Oh, thank you. Chris said he likes my outfit. Yeah, I've been trying to go through and sort, put away the winter clothes and start getting out some of the summer clothes, which in Arkansas, we usually don't have to do that, because my winter clothes don't vary that much from my summer clothes. I may add a flannel shirt on top of the t-shirt I'm wearing and jeans if it's a little bit chilly, but So anyway, I was rearranging clothes, and I just happened to, I was going through my summer clothes, and I happened to find this shirt, and I'm like, well, I'll wear it tonight. Anyway, but thank you. I appreciate that, Chris. There's my Doodle. Hello, Doodle. How are you doing, ma'am? It's so good to see you. I did reach out to Doodle actually the other day. I hadn't heard from her in a while, so I just reached out to her to make sure everything was okay with her. And I did get to catch her live stream that she did the other night. Can't remember what night it was. Everything's running together right now for me, but it is so good to see Miss Doodle. So please do check Doodle out. Absolutely. Let me see. Excuse me. Thank you. We had tacos for supper, so I apologize. And I remember to take my indigestion medicine, but apparently it's not working. So there's Doodlebug's link. Thank you, Mustang, for putting it in. There's Mark. Good to see you, Mark, always. I saw Mark in, once again, I can't remember if it was in Doodlebugs live stream or Trial Junkies, whatever. One of the live streams that I actually got to watch this weekend. But it's always good to see you, Mark. There's Miss Avery. She'll come up. There she is. How are you doing, ma'am? I hope you're doing okay. All right, I think I'm caught up. So we will get started. Let me get my slideshow up. I'm telling you, you guys are going to have to keep me in check tonight. So like I said, we're going to be talking about some missing persons from Boise, Idaho. I think I have about 6. And I was actually able to find a fair amount of extra information. Thank you, Mustang. Absolutely. Please do check out Stolen Spirits, MMIWG. Obviously, from the name, they feature MMIP, MMIW, Indigenous, Missing and Murdered Indigenous. They are also on Facebook. And I think I have the link that I can pop in really quickly. There it is. They just do Miss Brady, Miss Nicole, everybody over there does such a wonderful job of bringing awareness to the missing and murdered Indigenous. And we just love them. We love them. They're one of our favorites. So let me get the link in there. There it is. And also, did I remember to put, while I'm putting in links, oh, no, I haven't got it yet. I'm going to have to get, somehow I did have the link to Locks of Reunification Facebook group in there, but I think I accidentally deleted it. So I'm going to have to go back and get it in my browser, save it in my browser again too. But do check out Locks of Reunification, if I can talk. They do excellent work. Matt and Miss Rose and that whole group over there, they do excellent work with missing person posters, researching cases. Fantastic job they do. All right. So I will quit blabbing now and make sure nobody's sneaking on me. Oh, our honorary troll is here. Hello, Bubba. Good to see you. Echoes is in the building. Attention. Echoes is in the building. Good to see you. I hope you're doing good. You and the Mrs. Echoes, and all the chillins, all the children's doing good. All right. So first we have David Emmett Alford. And he's been missing since August 24th, 2014 from Boise. He is classified as endangered missing. He is a white male. He was 36 years old when he went missing. He would be 48 years old as of 2026. I still want to say 2025, 2026. At the time he went missing, he was 5'8" tall, 140 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. He has a 3-inch scar on the back of his right arm. He also has a scar on the front of his neck and a scar on his back. So very distinctive. He does have a tattoo of the astrological sign for Capricorn on his ankle, and his nicknames are Moss and Svi, SVI, however you pronounce that. So David was last seen once again on August 24th, 2014. He was hitchhiking near the interstate. Apparently he was carrying a cardboard sign that read Arizona on one side and Utah was on the other side. So I guess he was trying to get to either Arizona and or Utah. So after he was seen hitchhiking on the interstate with this sign, he has never been seen or heard from again. They say he may have an Idaho or Montana driver's license, but he does not own a vehicle. They said that he usually keeps in regular touch with his family through the internet, particularly during the Christmas holidays. But after his last sighting or his disappearance in August 2014, his relatives have not heard from him. No calls, no, they haven't seen him, no communication whatsoever. So the only clues to David's disappearance was discovered in July of 2022, which was almost 8 years after he was last seen. Firefighters who are fighting the dragon fire in the Grand Canyon area of Arizona did find his backpack. His ID and other personal belongings were inside the backpack when it was found. They did do a search of about 370 acres of the surrounding terrain. Unfortunately, they didn't find anything, no indication of David's whereabouts. And obviously the case remains unsolved. So if you do have any information, you can call the Boise PD at 208-577-3000. And I think I just was able to find an article about when they found his backpack. So, I mean, it could be that he did walk, hike, or got a ride to that area and did go down. And from what I've read, I don't know if it says in this article, because I read a couple of 2 or 3 articles about when they found the backpack, but they said where they found the backpack, it wasn't really on a hiking, because there are, I guess, hiking. I've never been to the Grand Canyon, but I guess, there are hiking trails, to go down into the Grand Canyon. But from if I read correctly, where the backpack was found wasn't really on or near a hiking trail. It was kind of an out of the way place where hikers and tourists don't really go to. It was an unmarked trail, or it wasn't really a trail even, is where they actually found the backpack at. All right, so this article, if I can get rid of the ads, is from ktvb.com, and as always, the links to all the online sources that I use are in the description box. And this article is from, go away ads, August of 2022, so when they found the backpack. So it says Grand Canyon firefighters stumbled across a backpack on July 25th while prepping a containment line and fighting the dragon fire in Arizona. When they opened it, they found ID of 36-year-old missing Boise man David Alford inside. So it says Alford is now 44 years old, but he has not been seen since 2014. According to NamUs, he was last seen hitchhiking on August 25th, 2014, near the interstate. Once again, he was holding this cardboard sign that said Arizona on one side, Utah on the other side. Joel Baird of the National Park Service told KTVB that 150 wildfire personnel were assigned to manage the dragon fire. One crew was prepping the line around the north rim of the Grand Canyon when they stumbled upon this weathered backpack. Baird said, quote, "They did find identification inside and personal belongings. They were able to positively identify that it did belong to him. Following that discovery, we had a small search team here on the north rim of the park assembled, as well as 2 canine units from search and rescue. Search teams were able to do a grid search of 370 acres. So that's a lot. That's a lot of acreage to cover. 370 acres over the course of 2 days from the area where the backpack was found. So I'm assuming they do like they usually do. They start in and kind of, work their way out, and usually a circular, or maybe usually a circular formation, just work their way out. However, Alford has still not been located, and Baird said the area where the backpack was found is not highly trafficked. They did their best to cover as much area as they could, and no additional clues were discovered. The NamUs said that Alford would usually keep in contact once again with his family through Facebook or email, but all communication ceased in August of 2014. Baird said, quote, everyone started the search with the presumption that we would be finding remains based on the evidence found. This location is a little odd, though, because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. For there to be no other evidence, it's just not an area most people go to on foot. So that's why I was saying that it's out of, out in the middle of nowhere, not on a established hiking trail. Makes you wonder. I mean, it's possible, possible that he most likely, if he was hitchhiking, got a ride and just hiked down there and either had some kind of accident or something of that nature. And just, we all know, we talk about all the time how hard it is, especially in that kind of terrain, to find remains, especially after so long. So this could just be, unfortunately, a case of he was just left of his own accord. He was hitchhiking, decided to go for whatever reason, go down into the Grand Canyon and either got lost and succumbed, or had an accident and succumbed to his injuries. It's just very obviously sad, as they all are. So I lost my place once again. So the National Park Service notified Boise PD, the lead agency on the investigation into Mr. Alford's disappearance. They also contacted Mr. Alford's family. KTVB reached out to the Boise PD and Alford's family. They did not receive, at the time this article was written, a response. Once again, according to NamUs, Mr. Alford has brown hair, blue eyes, 5 foot 8 inches tall. He weighed around 140 pounds at the time. He was last seen carrying a skateboard and a bag. I don't think I gave his, I think I forgot to give his description. I'll go back and do it from the Charley Project. He was last seen carrying a skateboard and a bag, wearing a t-shirt, tan cargo pants, and a short, full-brimmed hat, which is why there are 2 pictures, I believe, on Charley Project, and I chose the picture for the slide because I said that was similar. Either, I don't know if it was the same one, but similar to the kind of hat that he was wearing when he was seen hitchhiking and then ultimately disappeared. So once again, if you do have any information regarding Mr. Alford's disappearance, contact the Boise PD at 208-570-6000. Let me go back to the Charley Project, because I think once again, I apologize for the flightiness tonight. Let me get it to go back. Yeah. So he was last seen wearing a t-shirt, tan cargo shorts or boots, and short hat with full brim. He was carrying a duffel bag and the skateboard. So I wonder, so they said they found the duffel bag, or the backpack duffel bag. They didn't say anything about finding the skateboard. Now, could he have lost it or gotten rid of it, dumped it somewhere before he made it to the Grand Canyon? Sure. But as far as I know, the skateboard has not been found, just the duffel bag or the backpack with his ID and other personal belongings. It does say that he has a physical impairment stemming from prior surgery to his spine, so that may account for the scars that he has. So I think I read everything else. I forgot that one little part there. Let me see if I had anything else on him. Goodness gracious. Okay, so I did find, if it'll come up, once again, it's on Facebook. A post from Idaho Cold Cases on Facebook, and let me see right quick if it will let me share my screen, because it does have a map and a picture. Sorry, let's start drinking my water. I'm about out of Coke. It did have a map and with a pin. Let me see what I'm doing here. Of the approximate location of where they found the backpack. Once again, it may take a minute if it will pop up. Here it comes. Maybe. We'll give it a minute. There it is. Oh, goodness. Sorry. Punching buttons. So if you can see, I'm making it bigger. Did you get bigger on the screen? I don't know. So that you can see the red pins. I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. The red pin. So this once again is the north rim of the Grand Canyon. And if you see in the bottom, the closest maybe little trail is Point Sublime Trail. So it was found somewhere off of that trail. And it does say, I'll get back over here where you can see. I'll read the post, and it's from August of 2022. It says, from the family of David Alford, missing from Boise, Idaho since 2014. David Emmett Alford hitchhiked out of Boise, Idaho on August 24th, 2014. Has not been heard from since, despite usually staying in touch with family members on a regular basis. David, also known as Svi or Moss, so it gives us vitals again. So I know they mentioned they say he experienced chronic back pain after a severe snowboarding accident. He had prior back surgery. When last seen, once again, he was holding the cardboard sign. So there was something else in here that they didn't mention in the Charley Project. Something about tattoos, maybe not. But anyway, that is the area where his backpack was found. It said David's family, when they received the information about them finding the backpack, they received it with mixed emotions. They can continue searching to bring David home to rest. So whoever wrote this post said, my heart goes out to a family receiving news such as this. David was a free spirit who hitchhiked and worked as he went along. So apparently he did hitchhike frequently, or at least had hitchhiked before. He worked as he went along. He enjoyed his travels across America. He loved nature. David's family had no idea until now where he traveled to, only ideas and theories. This is hard for them, but it is something to start with. I urge all of you to share this post with family, friends, hiking groups, and explorers who visit the North Rim of the Grand Canyon in the future, especially in the radius around his backpack. They say it's not a heavily hiked area, but remote. Point Sublime Trail. So let me share. I will share this link in the chat. So you guys, whoever, if you're on Facebook, you can check it out. All right. Let me make sure. I think that is all I had on Mr. Alford. Excuse me, my voice is going on me. Yeah, that was all I had. Okay, so let me get back into your comments right quick. Let me stop sharing that because whenever I share, it slows, makes the computer laggy. Put that back up. I forgot to mark. I thought I marked where I left off. Hold on. Oh, don't want to do that. Lots of comments popped up. Hold on, let me get back down to where I was at as usual. I'm making it. Maybe. Oh my goodness. Oh God, I'll have to get to that comment. Echoes, you're gonna get kicked out. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think I'm basically back down to where I was at. Oh wait, there it is. I found it. I found it. I found the blue star. Okay. But I'm losing everything else, including my mind. Let me see. Yep, there's echoes. Really? Ah, goodness gracious. You're gonna get kicked out, I'm telling you. You better watch out. Doodle is in here. You know what happens when you come in and Doodle is here. Oh goodness. Yeah, okay. You keep telling yourself that. What? Who is this? I don't know who Kyle Huffy is. Southern guy committed treason. I have no idea what you're talking about. Please explain. Please explain. If you're a troll, you can take yourself elsewhere. I don't. If anybody else knows who Kyle Huffy is, I have no clue. Anyway, I never have patience for trolls, and I apologize if you're not a troll and you're just being funny or trying to be funny. But this is not the night, you know. This is not the night. Avery says she watches it from the bathtub. You know, I'm glad I'm telling that happens to me too. Anyway, Doodle does have a wrench. I gave Doodle a wrench a long time ago. Why don't you have a wrench, Doodle? What happened to your wrench? Oh my goodness. I know I didn't take away Doodle's wrench. Oh my goodness. Miss Paula has a wrench. Mustang has a wrench. They can take care of trolls. Doodle, I don't know what happened. And if I try to get it, I will give Doodlebug a wrench again. I don't know what happened. I know she had a wrench. You just won't let the hairbrush thing go, will you? Yes, most definitely love to all mods. Hello, Miss PJ. Good to see you, ma'am. Always. Yeah, Echoes has been removed plenty of times before people realize that he is actually my brother. Let's see. Yep, that is Miss PJ. I don't know if she wants. I don't know if she wants that televised out there, but yeah, that is Miss PJ. Yeah. Echoes wants a show of hands of people who've kicked him out. Hey, Miss Z. Good to see you, ma'am. Always good to see Miss Z. I hope you and Doc and Moo are doing well. Miss Z had a fantastic live stream as usual. What's today? Sunday night. I actually got to make it. I think my second live in a row that I got to make it to here lately. Let's see, but please do check out Child Junkies United. They do excellent work with injustice cases and indigenous cases. They are also one of our favorites around here. Let's see. Junior said, Echoes Junior said he doesn't think he's ever kicked you out. I think Junior's too nice to kick anybody out unless they're just really, really causing trouble. Oh, goodness. Let me see. Thank you very much, Mustang. There is, if it'll come up. I don't know why on my computer, what I can see, what y'all can see is very small, so I can't. Having trouble as usual. Patriotism wants to know, are we having a quiz tonight? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not, honestly, once again, I'm not sure about anything tonight. After like I said, it's been a topsy-turvy, upside down. We're in the upside. I feel like we're in the upside down right now in Stranger Things. It's just everything is all askew, all cattywampus. Miss Paula wants to know, is the back, oh, where did it go? Hold on, Miss, everything just jumped up. Hold on, I lost Miss Paula's comment. Holy moly. Okay, there it is. Jeez. Miss Paula wanted to know, is the backpack camouflage? I don't know. I don't think it gave, let me go back to the Charley Project, see if it gave a description. I think it just said a backpack. Well, it says a duffel bag. The Charley Project says a duffel bag. And I think in the article, they may have called it a backpack. So in the article, they call it a backpack. But there is no description of it other than it was weathered, obviously, when they found it in the Grand Canyon, because it'd been there for so long, because they found it in was it 2022? So about 8 years. It had been out there. But it does not give a description of whether it was camouflage or not. Yes, Chris says that was a great live stream last night from Trail Junkies United. Absolutely. See, I asked the same question. Ms. Z says, I want to know where the skateboard is. Yes, because they found, like I said, they found the backpack, did not find the skateboard. Now, like I said, it is possible that he either got tired of carrying around the skateboard and just dumped it off somewhere, or lost it somewhere sometime between or before he got to the Grand Canyon where they found the backpack. But yeah, it just seemed odd that because I don't, if you're hitchhiking, you really don't want to be carrying. I mean, I've never hitchhiked, but you wouldn't want to be carrying a whole lot of stuff around with you if you were walking a long way. And he already had the duffel bag and or backpack, whichever it was. And skateboards, I mean, depending on what kind of skateboard you have, can be pretty heavy. I mean, you can carry it, but I mean, it would be kind of, bulky and heavy. So I don't, it could have been that he just got tired of carrying it around and just dumped it somewhere and it was just never found. Yeah, Chris, they did do that. Chris said, I want to know if the area was searched where the backpack was found. Yeah, they said they did a search of about 370 acres. So like I said, I'm assuming they just started like a grid search, started where they found the backpack and then just worked out in like either circles or like a rectangular or a square grid pattern. But yeah, they searched 370 acres. They had 2 canine units and like 150 or so people searching. So, and they didn't find anything as far as remains or anything else that belonged to Mr. Alford. What comment are you talking about? The meat treason? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Thank you, Doodle. Doodle says it's gone now. Yeah, I don't know. And I have it. I think I said it to subscribers only for the live stream. chat, so I don't know whoever it was that had to have subscribed to make that comment. But anyway, oh, the YouTube gods took it. Okay. Man, it's hot in here. I am burning up. Yeah, YouTube has been crazy lately. Yeah, and once again, apparently YouTube is still unsubscribing people from channels. So check on my or any channel that you are want to be subscribed to that think you are still subscribed to. Please check to make sure that you are still subscribed, because YouTube will unsubscribe you randomly from channels. I don't know. So it's the YouTubes, you know. Who knows what they, you know how that goes. Mustang said, or in the parking lot. PJ said, wrench wars with Doodle. What? Patriotism says, order some more gum. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, goodness. Now Echoes wants a wrench. Lord have mercy. Hey, Kimber Crimes. Hello, my dear. How are you doing? It says she's a new member. Welcome, welcome. Either she's a new member or she renewed. So guess what? Let me find the cow is probably in hiding. There she is. Thank you so much, Miss Kimber, for your continued support. It is good to see you. Hold on, I'm gonna have to. Man, nothing is working right as usual tonight. My glasses are falling off my face. I'm sweating so much. I don't know if we have the heat on or the air on or neither, but there's no air moving in this house, and I'm about to die. Let's see if anybody else came in while I was. Yep. Kimber made the pasture. Are you leaving? Are you leaving already, Echoes? Oh my goodness. Party pooper. You can't stand the heat. Yes, I'm glad you caught alive too, Miss Kimber. Doodle says, I'm old. I call everything a book bag. Yeah, so I don't know, because there is a distinct difference, obviously, between a duffel bag and a backpack. So I don't know. Once again, the Charley Project said a duffel bag, but then we know that sometimes Charley Project information is, could be a little sketch sometimes. Patriotism says, where is Miss Farr? I don't know. I haven't seen her. I saw her was she in Doodle's chat, or I saw her in a chat the other night. Once again, I can't remember. I did get to catch a lot of live streams the last couple of days. I was very happy about. Let's see. Yeah, Miss PJ says she's in burrito. Go back to the Beavis and Butthead days. I'm in burrito. Incognito. Ms. Z says, it'll come up. Come on. Oh, there it goes. I would think the skateboard was his means of transportation, so I would think he would keep that. That is a good point. That is a good point. I did not think about that. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, and Miss Kimber gifted 5 Southern Guys True Crime memberships. Thank you so much, ma'am. Appreciate that. Oh my gosh. I don't know what is wrong with. Anyway, Thank you so much, Miss Kimber. That is sweet. And you guys can look at the YouTube chat and see who got the memberships. Yes, Miss Doodle says, welcome to new members and thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, patriotism says more moo cow time. Patriotism loves the cow. Good to hear. Miss Kimber says she is good. Yep, that's what I was thinking, that you had been a member and that you renewed. I appreciate that. It says it was 60 today in New Hampshire. Wow. It was in the, I don't know what I didn't leave the house today. It was raining and storming, so I didn't get out and work today. I worked yesterday and I'll be back out again tomorrow. I work in between on the days that it's not pouring down, raining and storming. What? YouTube is holding comments. And thank you, Miss Stormy. She says she's heading to bed. Everyone have a great, or she's heading to bed. Have a great live. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you, Stormy. Always good to see you. Thank you, thank you. See, Josh appreciates in burrito. Telling you, if you watch Beavis and the Butthead back in the day, I think I watched way too much Beavis and Butthead. Maybe that explains a lot about me. What's wrong with me? Wait a minute, is Junior going too? Hold on, did I miss something? Trying to hurry up and get caught up. Oh yeah, I did miss. I missed Josh. Oh my goodness. Josh sent the $3 super sticker. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Very kind, sir. Did I must have missed Junior. Everybody's saying good night to Junior. I don't want to miss Junior. It only let me go back so far. But good night, Junior. If you're leaving, thank you so much for being here, sir. We're always glad to have you here for as long as you can be here. I think I went back too far. Let me see. Yep, I went back too far. So I got that. I got Josh's super sticker. Let's see. Almost caught up. I say that, and then the whole batch shows up. Oh, there's Junior. Okay. Junior says, I'm going to put my chimneys on to get some ice cream and get ready for bed, but I'm still listening. Thank you, Junior. Send me over some of that ice cream. I want some. There's Dan. Oh, there's Dandy. Hello, my dear. Good to see you. She says, hello and happy Monday, everyone. I hadn't seen Dandy in a while. Good to see you, ma'am. Thank you for being here. I've missed you. I really have. Okay, I think I'm once again. So, once again, computers being slow. All right. So next we have, once again, I should have already had it. This should be Ahren Benjamin Barnard. And I'm assuming it's spelled Ahren. It's either Ahren or Ren or a weird spelling of Aaron. So I'm just gonna go with Ahren. I apologize if that's not the right pronunciation. But Ahren has been missing since December 4th, 2004 from Boise. He's a white male. He was 35 years old when he went missing. He would be 56 years old as of 2026. When he went missing, he was 5'10" tall to 5'10" to 6 foot tall, 180 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He has a brown mustache and a goatee. He does have a scar on his left arm, a mole on the right side of his face above his mustache, and also a mole by his right eye. He fractured his right forearm and his foot as a child. His tonsils have been removed. His ears are pierced one time each. And he has deep dimples, they say, when he smiles. And I think maybe in that picture you can kind of see. His nicknames are Ahrens or Ahrens, Benji, and Binge. Last known clothing was a black or golden brown suede leather jacket, a gray silk shirt, blue jeans, a Movado watch on his right wrist, possibly a small hoop earring in each ear, and he was wearing a money clip, and it says that he has unspecified behavior disorder. So, and there's also an associated vehicle, which I do not think was found, a green 1995 Land Rover or Range Rover SUV with temporary Idaho license plates. So Ahren was last seen, he went to the McDonald's restaurant at Cole Road and Overland Road at around 7 p.m. on December 4th, 2004. He left his young son with the child's mother, and he was planning to see his son again the next morning, but he never arrived. His last cell phone call was at around 7:15 p.m. on the day of his disappearance. So his car, so apparently the car that is missing was not his car. So his car later found parked in his driveway. When police checked his apartment, they found no indications of foul play. They say he may be driving a green 1995 Land Rover or Range Rover SUV with a temporary Idaho license plates. It says he is a firearms dealer. He may frequent gun shows. He also worked as a disc jockey in strip clubs. He has been known to carry firearms. The day before he went missing, he told his mother that he was thinking of getting a chauffeur's license by a limousine. So it says he did have an outstanding warrant for his arrest for battery in Ada County, Idaho, at the time of his disappearance. But police are not sure whether his disappearance has anything to do with that warrant. Prior to the time he went missing, he was fighting for custody of his son. He had a falling out with his business partner. So, although no evidence has surfaced to connect the two cases, it's worth noting that Ahren and a gentleman named Jeremy Burt, which I also included Jeremy as one of the cases tonight. This is a really weird kind of thing going on here. So he and Jeremy Burt did have some mutual acquaintances. Jeremy Burt disappeared from Boise in 2007. He has never been located. Jeremy family described him as a dedicated father who would not have willingly left or abandoned his children. He also left behind his dog and cat without making arrangements for their care, which is uncharacteristic of his behavior. There is no evidence of foul play in his case, but due to his lifestyle, his disappearance is considered suspicious and it remains unsolved. So if you do have any information, once again, you can call the Boise PD at 208-775-008-373-5401. And later on, when we get to Jeremy Burt case, we're kind of go into this weird connections, and it's really bizarre, really bizarre. It could have been some shady stuff going on. But let me get to what I had on Ahren first. If it'll come up, may take its sweet time. Oh, it came up. So this article, once again, if I can get rid of the ads, is from November of 2013. And it's about an anonymous tip. So an anonymous tip is giving Boise police and the family of a man who has been missing for 7 years new hope. Information received through an anonymous letter gave police new leads as to what might have happened to Ahren Barnard. Barnard disappeared 7 years ago in December of 2004. Once again, he was last seen at this McDonald's restaurant on South Cole Road and West Overland Road. Detectives say new information is helping to keep the case active. Sergeant Barnett, who I'm assuming is with Boise PD, said in a written statement, quote, information received from an anonymous letter recently appears to be relevant to the case and gave detective new leads to follow. That letter seems to validate what we've thought all along, that there are individuals who have information on this case who have not yet come forward, end quote. So the latest tip that the police received suggests that foul play could be involved or is involved, according to this anonymous tip. Sergeant Barnett went on to say, quote, we know that someone is hearing us and we want to keep the message alive, that we are keeping Ahren's case alive. We continue to believe Ahren is not responsible for his own disappearance, meaning someone else is. The hunt for information will not stop until we learn what happened to Ahren, end quote. So when he was last seen, so it goes over his vitals again, he had dark hair with frosted blonde on top, 5'10" tall, around 180 pounds, brown eyes. He may have had a mustache and goatee. He has a scar on the left arm. So that was an anonymous tip. So I think this might kind of tie into what we're going to go into later with this possible connection with the Jeremy Burt's disappearance. I'm telling you, it's a whole rabbit hole. I'm telling you. Let me see. I think I had another article. Let me see this list. It's been so long since I read these articles because it's been a couple of weeks, because I originally was going to do this last Monday, but I had to cancel last Monday because of technical difficulties. So this article is from the family, and it is from December of 2024, so fairly recently. So it says December 4th, 2024 marks 20 years since Boise father Ahren Barnard disappeared. In 2004, Barnard dropped his son off at McDonald's with the boy's mother, and that was the last time that anyone saw him. BPD said they knew Barnard was on a phone call while driving home and parked in his driveway before vanishing under mysterious circumstances. So despite 20 years of investigation, his case remains unsolved, with his family, friends, detectives, and members of the community still heavily invested. One local podcast called Into Darkness NW and the host Randy have been following Barnard's case for years. Randy told KTVB, quote, I really think that the Ahren Barnard case is one of the most complex that I have knowledge of. So many different potential suspects, so many potential theories and motivations behind it, end quote. Barnard, Ahren was the father, DJ, farms dealer, and entrepreneur in Boise, which led to theories about his appearance. Randy, the host of the podcast, said, quote, I think the whole scenario of how he disappeared really puts the emphasis on the mystery, end quote. Randy said the mystery has only grown bigger throughout the years. He says, I think it's just because the push from the family and the friends to keep the case alive. Ahren's mother, Vicki Barnard, is still very involved in the case also. She said, quote, I just want to find my son. Hopefully those people that know what happened will grow a conscience and do the right thing, even if it's anonymously, end quote. She said that she does have hope that he will be found someday. She said, quote, I believe an unaliver or unalivers, plural, live amongst you in your town. I don't concentrate on punishment of anyone. I concentrate on just finding him. So basically she's saying, you know, come what may, just basically boils down to she wants to find her son, period. So BPD posted on social media, stating in part, quote, over the years, detectives have gathered binders full of evidence and a list of persons of interest in the case. Investigators know that someone has information that can bring this case to a close, and Ahren's family deserves closure, absolutely. So once again, if you have any information about this case, no matter how insignificant it may seem, we urge you to contact Boise police detectives or call Crime Stoppers at 343-COPS. You can also leave a web tips at 343cops.com or use this P3 Tips app. I still have not figured out what this P3 Tips app is. Once again, if you have any information, contact BPD, Crime Stoppers anonymously, or leave a tip through the website or the app. Let me see. I'm trying to decide if we're going to go into. I think we'll save, because I think the other article that kind of connects Ahren's case and Jeremy's case is. I included it with Jeremy's, so we'll get to that. So stay tuned. We will get to that. Very bizarre. Like I said, very, very bizarre. Very bizarre. Let me see. Get down back. Once again, I think I forgot to mark where I left off. Anyway. Oh, you're talking about food. Oh my goodness. Oh, I did mark. Wait, I saw the blue dot, or the blue star. There it is. Okay. Thank you, Josh. Josh says, unfortunately, I have to check out tonight too. Several late nights, and I'm old now. I feel you, brother. I feel you. Good night, all. LOL. Thank you, Josh, for being here. Please do check out Where Lavender Grows. Josh is fantastic. I really enjoyed our live stream that we did this past Friday night, about 3.5 hours. I kept Josh up way past his bedtime. But it was very fun, very interesting, informative, what we talked about. So I hope to be able to do more collaborations with Josh in the future. Everybody's seen we got really good response for it, really good. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. People enjoyed it. People thought it was good. Anyway. So thank you, Josh. I know Josh is busy, and I think he goes live at around 6:00 on Sundays, I believe, is when he does his live streams. I think that's probably going to be his. I can't use my words tonight, y'all. Worse than usual. I can't use my words tonight. Anyway, once again, it is good to see Dandy. Oh, Junior says he has black walnut ice cream tonight. We know who you are, Miss PJ. Oh, Miss Kimber said she had a honey walnut chicken for dinner. Oh, sounds amazing. Dandy says she made lemon lavender butter cookies today. Oh my goodness. Y'all stop with the food talk. Let me see. Oh, now y'all talking about Chinese food or Panda Express. Orange chicken. Oh, I love orange chicken. See, that's what I don't understand. So that is a very excellent question. So I mentioned that his car, Ahren's car, I apologize for I try not to vape on camera, but anyway, Ahren's car was found in his driveway. So apparently he made it after he dropped off his son at the McDonald's with the mother. I'm assuming he was in his car while he was doing that, so he made it back home because his car was found in his driveway. So I don't know, but then they said he could be driving this was a Range Rover SUV, which just disappeared with him. So, but I don't know who it belongs to. It doesn't say if it was his vehicle, if he had a second vehicle, if it was a friend's. And nothing that I can find mentioned in any articles said where exactly this second vehicle came from. But Ms. Z says, so are they saying he had a second vehicle, or was he taken right after parking his car? Let me read it again. Let me go back to the Charley Project information. I think is where it mentioned more about the vehicle. Because I can't remember. It might have said that he might have been driving. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. It says he may be driving this green 1995 Land Rover or Range Rover SUV. So they say he may have been driving it. Once again, it doesn't mention if it was his second vehicle, a friend's vehicle, but it said he may be driving it. So that is a very important distinction. Very good point that Ms. Z makes. Because I didn't even think about was he driving it or was he taken in it? But apparently he could be driving it, or could have been driving it. Okay, so Dandy says, because I was talking about if Ahren, Ahren, was a different alternate spelling of the traditional name, Ahren. Dandy says, my best friend's son name is Ahren. Am I pronouncing it right, Dandy? It means eagle, she believes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I was pronouncing it wrong. Thank you, Dandy. Says not pronounced Ahren. It's Ahren. Is that closer? Ahren, I do believe. Okay. Ahren. Yep, that is true. Ms. Z says, I don't know, but if you are fighting for custody of your child and say that you will see him the next day, it's hard to believe he left willingly. Absolutely. And like I said, when we get into Jeremy Burt's case and the connections and things, it goes more into these theories about Ahren's case. Some rabbit hole stuff. Once again, some rabbit hole stuff. Let me see. Well, where did you go? Echo says, what did I miss? You had to catch up, dude. Where did you go? Yeah, Ms. Z says, I love a good rabbit hole. Don't forget to drink the potion when you go down. Yeah. Yeah, Echo says, one pill makes you larger, one pill makes you small. I need a pill to make me smaller. That's a whole different story. Anyway, Z says, sounds to me he might not have made it into the house. The guy got out of his car and was taken or willingly went with someone that he should not have. That you're onto something there. That kind of goes in with this rabbit hole thing. Hey, Miss Marion, good to see you, my dear. Been a long time since I've seen Miss Marion. Always good to have you here. Let me see. Yep. Z says someone needs to give the family some peace. Yeah. Absolutely. We're gonna get there, Paula. Paula says, how do they connect? We're gonna get there. They had mutual acquaintances. Some rather alleged shady acquaintances. Yep. Much love and prayers to the families. Echoes, I will tell mom. I will tell mom that. Oh, don't be called. They're not weirdos. Come on now. Jeez, you're being mean. But tell Mrs. Echoes that hi back, and I love her. Thank you, Ms. Z. Ms. Z says you and Josh are great together. Yeah, I think me and Josh have just play well off each other, have a kind of chemistry thing going. He's kind of got the same dry sense of humor and kind of logic that I do, the way we think things through. So yeah, I'm looking forward. Hopefully, in the future, me and Josh can do some more collaborations. Absolutely. And I'm just glad that we made it through the live stream because it was on my channel, and we all know what happens. Anything can happen technical wise on my live stream. So, but we made it through without a hitch. So I was happy about that. Yeah, I know. Echo says I shouldn't vape at all. It's bad for me. I know. I know. That's my only vice, though. I don't drink, so I gotta have something. Gotta have something. Anyway. That's a good question that I don't know the answer to. Miss Paula says, what kind of car did his wife drive? I don't know. Don't know. Like I said, excellent question, though. Hey, Miss Heather. Good to see you, my dear. Always good to see Heather Brown, Hebby. And man, I made it most of the way through Dave's live stream Saturday night, or late Saturday, early Sunday morning. I woke up because I was actually watching it on my laptop because it's just easier to type in chat, and I try to get links in for Dave for different creators' channels. But at some point, I kind of laid back on my bed and I had my laptop on me and my glasses on, and I woke up. I don't even know what time I woke up, and my laptop was still on me. My glasses were all askew on my face because I've fallen asleep. So I apologize today. I made it through most of it. So I'll have to be replay crew to watch the rest of it. Thank you, Miss Heather. Always appreciated. Oh goodness, it goes. Oh my goodness. Yes, Miss Marion says justice for all. Absolutely. Yeah, if you find the doodle, let me know. Hold on, sorry. Doodle says, where can I find this Magic Bee skinny peel? I guess you have to be Alice in Wonderland and take the one that makes you smaller. Or take the, I don't know if I can say the O word, that that thing that all the celebrities are taking that are turning them into. That's a whole other rabbit hole too. This Ozempic thing, man. Doodle says make mine a double. There's Miss Farr. See, she heard us talking about her. Hello, Miss Farr. Good to see you. Hey, Doodles and Gray. Good to see you. Doodles and Gray was one of the ones that reached out to me on Discord, I think, to just see if everything, how everything was going. So thank you for being here. Thank you for reaching out. Good to have you here. Dandy said the magic skinny pill is not eating ever. I almost caught up, and we'll get to the next one. Avery says she's still listening and walking the doggies. Miss Farr gifted a Southern Guide True Crime membership. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Miss Farr. Let's put another cow in the pasture. Once again, you guys can let me know. I can't see it on StreamYard. You guys can let me know. It should show up in the YouTube chat. On the YouTube side, I meant to say. Yes, thank you very much, Miss Farr. And oh my goodness, Miss Farr seeing a $10 Australian. Thank you for all you do, Southern Gal. No, thank you guys for all the support. All the support. Oh, once again, watch out. I'm pushing buttons that I shouldn't be pushing. Thank you so much, ma'am. Very sweet. Very sweet. And while we're at it, Miss Avery has renewed her membership. She's been a member for 3 months. I wonder if patriotism's still here. We got the cows going. Thank you so much for your continued support, Miss Avery. Very much appreciated. Did Avery get one of the memberships? If you did, congratulations. Yeah, me and Z have trouble with pushing buttons. I know on Miss Z's live stream Sunday night, last night, she was having trouble with buttons. Yep, I have trouble with them also. You are not alone. Farr said, welcome back to the paddock, Pastor Avery. Most definitely, congratulations. Echo says he's been a member for 51 years. Yep, you've been stuck with me for 51 years. Man, that's a long time. We are old, dude. When did we get so old? Thank you, Miss Marion. Says, thank you for putting our loved one stories out there. Absolutely, ma'am. That is why we are here. You think Echoes needs a cow? Yeah, I think Echoes deserves a cow for 51 years. There you go, Echoes. There's your very own cow. I know he's going to have a something to say about having to put up with me for 51 years. Yep, see, he says I've given enough of my soul to her, no money. Oh goodness. Oh, Miss Marion says we're aging gracefully. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Echoes. Heather Hebby said she'll trade sisters. All right, we will get back down to business. Let's see who we have next. We have this should be Krystyn Ray Dunlap. And so Krystyn has been missing since October 14th, 1994. From Boise. She is a white female. She was just 17 years old when she went missing. She'll be 49 years old as of 2026. At the time she went missing, she was 5'4" tall, 140 pounds, with blonde hair and green eyes. Her nickname is Christy. She may use the last name Bose and or Dunlap Bose. She was wearing glasses, and she has a 1-inch scar on her buttocks. So Christy disappeared. She left a note for her family saying that she had to get away, but that she will return in a year's time. So to me, that is very specific, saying, okay, I'm going away willingly, but I'll be back in a year. A friend of hers said that that Christy had wanted to travel to Oregon to get away from her boyfriend. Christy did had a troubled childhood. She had run away from home before, but she would always return home voluntarily. Prior to her October 1994 disappearance, she had never been gone for longer than a week without getting in touch with either a friend or a relative. Krystyn is known to have taken a job at a hotel in McCall, Idaho. So somebody can look it up if you can. I don't know how far away or the distance between Boise and McCall. So she took this job at a hotel in McCall after she went missing, but apparently she only worked there for one day. So some friends and acquaintances reportedly had contact with Krystyn between October and mid-December of 1994. But after that, they never heard from her again. And around that time, she did also stop collecting the Social Security benefits that she had been receiving since her father's death. So I'm assuming that's the kind of thing that in their thing where if a parent is getting excuse me, some kind of benefits, if they pass away, then I guess I don't know if they can designate someone to receive the benefits, usually a family member, a child. I'm assuming it's that kind of thing. Prior to her disappearance, Krystyn had been seeing a man named Charles Corey Castro, who was 10 years older than she. He was reportedly married, and he was physically abusive to Krystyn. He had allegedly threatened her to stop her from telling the police that he had assaulted her. He was one of the last people known to have seen Krystyn prior to her disappearance. This Corey Castro, was on parole at the time of Krystyn's disappearance, and stated that he had broken off communication with her after his parole officer told them that he could not see her anymore. Now, whether or not he actually did break off communication, we don't know. So in 1998, he was convicted of SAing his new girlfriend's child. He was listed as on the SO registry as a result. He said he was questioned about Krystyn's case in 2011 and did pass a polygraph test. Of course, he maintained his innocence in Krystyn's disappearance. And I was going to put a picture of him on the slide, but I think I forgot to. So in January of 2022, Castro was actually GSW'd and killed by the police in Murphy, Idaho. It says deputies with the Owyhee County Sheriff's Office were called to the address to serve him with a civil protection order, which required him to move out of the home that he shared with his wife. So according to officers, when they told Castro that he had to leave, he became agitated. He charged at them while holding a weapon. He refused to drop it when ordered. So we know what happens after that. You know, when you go charging towards police officers with a firearm, bad things are going to happen. So Krystyn's case is now considered to be an endangered missing child rather than a runaway. Her loved one stated that she was very close to her younger brother, and they think that she would not have abandoned her younger brother. Authorities are searching for a certain vehicle that may have been involved in her case. It is a 1989 Z28 Camaro. Once again, I think they did put a picture of it on the Charley Project. I just don't have enough. I have limited space to put things on the slides, but you can look up what what was it, 1990 or hold on, 1989 Z28 Camaro. So it was painted gray in 1994, but they say it could be a different color now. It gives the VIN number. Police have tracked the vehicle. It was sold and given away multiple times after 1994. And then they say the last known location of this vehicle was in Sun Valley, Nevada in approximately 2003. So here's the problem, obviously, with if this vehicle was involved somehow with Krystyn's disappearance, if it's changed hands so many times over the years, any evidence that they might find in it probably would not be able to be brought into court because of a lack of chain of command and all. You know, we all don't know how that works. if anything was found in the car, there has to be a chain of command. Everything has to be logged. So, I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm just going by what I've tried to learn from experts like Mr. Steve, and other professionals. It would be, I'm assuming, probably most likely it would not be, a judge would not allow it to be admitted as evidence in a trial. They say foul play is possible in Kristy's case, which remains unsolved. So if you do have any information, once again, you can call the Boise PD at 208-377-6790. Let me see what I was able to find on Krysty. Found a couple of articles. I found some interviews with her family, statements from the family. So this first one, family and friends still grieve at disappearance of young Boise woman 27 years later. And this article is from November of 2021. It's been 27 years, and Lindsay Bro still remembers the genesis of her friendship with a young girl named Krystyn. It all started with a chicken sandwich. Hey, I'm telling you, chicken sandwich is not a bad way to start a friendship. So the two met at Bishop Kelly High School. Bro cannot recall exactly how they got to know each other, but many of her memories of Krystyn still vividly stand out years later. Bro said, quote, I just started splitting my sandwich with her. I'd get my chicken sandwich, cut off a half, and hand it to her. Every day, however long she was there, I just split my lunch with her until she was just gone, end quote. Oh, that just breaks my heart. So that makes me wonder, did Krysty not have a lunch with her? Oh, that breaks my heart. Just something about that just struck me as just so sad. So on October 14th, 1994, 17-year-old Krystyn Ray Dunlap Bowes left a note for her family saying that she needed to get away, but that she would be back in a year. That still gets me. Why a year? I mean, she walked out of her Boise home that day and never returned. Her family and friends still wait for answers nearly 3 decades later. The circumstances surrounding her case became one of the Treasure Valley's many unsolved investigations, a difficult childhood, repeated runaway attempts, and an allegedly abusive married boyfriend, 10 years her senior at the time, all are strands in the mystery surrounding her disappearance. Originally, Krystyn was listed as a runaway. In 1998, 4 years after she went missing, she was officially listed as a missing and endangered person. In 2011, Boise violent crime detectives conducted a cold case investigation to see if there was overlooked information or any new leads in Krystyn's location, according to Boise PD, but that led nowhere, unfortunately. The Boise PD said there have been no search warrants served in relation to the unsolved case and will not name any suspects. Now, I don't know if they mean they won't publicly name any suspects. Now, it's entirely possible and probable, in my opinion, that they do have some suspects. They just not going to say it publicly. So next to nothing has been posted online about Krysty besides her missing persons profile and a Facebook post. Her case, as it stands, is still an open investigation, and she has never been found. So Krystyn is remembered as a fiercely loyal, hazel-eyed, dirty blonde with a spunky attitude. Her older stepsister, Crystal Furman, recalled how often Krystyn would laugh. She said Krystyn's smile was large, lively, animated, and said that her smile is the first thing that she sees when thinking of her baby sister, something that she misses the most. Her sister goes on to say that she loved to laugh. She made people around her happy. She says Krystyn was adventurous. She was always up for anything. She was a terrible hacky sack player. Bro, her friend, the one that shared her chicken sandwiches with her in school, said that Krystyn was extremely witty. She said her friend group nicknamed Krystyn Twinkle Toes after the constant silly dances that she would do and the hilarious jokes that she would tell. She would entertain friends with small skits and sing along to country music star Garth Brooks. Furman, which I believe is her sister, said that she loved to record VHS videos of us in the backyard dancing. She went on to describe Krystyn's free-spirited demeanor, which included toilet papering houses and other late-night adventures with her sister and her friend. So yeah, back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of TPing of houses went on. So according to Bro, who was the friend, Krystyn had a rock and roll music taste. She liked Led Zeppelin's Misty Mountain Hop was her song of choice during backcountry road trips to Idaho hot springs with friends. She also gave the group lessons about the famous heavy metal band Black Sabbath, so I can dig her musical taste. Bro, the friend said, "Oh my gosh, she loved Iron Man from Black Sabbath. That was always also her favorite song. She was like, this song is going to change the world," end quote. Krystyn enjoyed entertainment. She and Queen Latifah. And Bro said that every time Bro sits down and watches one of Queen Latifah's movies, it feels like Krystyn is sitting there with her, spending time with her. Bro said that Krystyn had a big, huge heart and that she just misses her. So Krystyn was the middle child of 3 siblings. It says she adored her younger brother Daniel, who was 10 years old when Krystyn disappeared. Those who knew Krystyn well said that Daniel was her world. The hardest thing for Krystyn was being away from Daniel for long periods of time. But Krystyn could be somewhat of a challenge, according to her sister. She said as she fought with her family and had a hard childhood, one that consisted of blended families, divorces, and the death of their father. So yeah, it's just very hard. So running away was nothing new, according to her sister, because Krystyn had done it frequently before. In the wake of her difficult upbringing and an ADHD diagnosis. However, she always called, whether it was a day later or a week later. She would never go more than a week without contacting a friend or a family member, according to her sister. Krystyn and her mother, Kim, would often fight, but Krystyn was loyal to her, according to her sister. She said they would disagree, yet they would still end up as tight as they were before. So Kim, the mother, reported Krystyn missing following her October 1994 disappearance. But because Krystyn had run away before, her family believes the circumstances were not taken seriously by the police. Once again, a reoccurring theme in a lot of these cases, unfortunately. Her mother was invested in Krystyn's case since the first day that she reported her missing, and she has not stopped to this day. Even after hiring a private investigator and putting pressure on law enforcement, according to Furman, who was Krystyn's sister. So at first, Krystyn's sister says that she was mad that she had run away again. Krystyn took her sister's favorite tribal print sweatshirt with her, and Furman remembered how upset she was when she found out that Krystyn had snatched it. Her sister says, looking back, I'm like, really? That's what I was concerned about, just because I thought she was going to come home. So, understandable. So the last time that Bro, who's the friend, saw Krystyn, she was holding a box of sentimental belongings from her storage unit. Bro had driven Krystyn there after deciding she needed to get away for a while. Bro later drove Krystyn to a friend's house. She had planned to stay there for a while. Krystyn took her box of belongings, got out of Bro's white Geo Prism, and disappeared from Bro's sights forever. So Bro said, I looked for her for years. It's funny because that's one of the memories that I see often is Krystyn getting out of the car, end quote. Some friends allegedly had contact with Krystyn in the time between October and December of 1994. Boise PD said in the statement, quote, there were reports from a few of Krystyn's friends or acquaintances indicating they were in contact with Krystyn, but she was never officially located by family or police, end quote. The last known whereabouts of Krystyn is in McCall, where she took the, was it at a hotel, worked at a hotel for one day. McCall apparently is a small mountainous town, so 2 hours north of Boise, where she is believed to have been employed in the city for only one day. In mid-December of 1994, about 2 months after she left home, friends lost contact with Krystyn altogether. She stopped cashing her Social Security checks that she was receiving after the death of her father. She never returned to work. So obviously something happened, around that time, whether it was voluntary or not, that she just cut off communication voluntarily or something happened to her. So her sister and mother had Krystyn's Social Security information, which they said was traced back to this hotel in McCall where she worked. The McCall Police Department do not have any records of Krystyn in its system, so apparently she wasn't contacted, didn't come in contact with police or anything while she was in McCall. Bo, the friend, recalled Krystyn wanting to get on a bus to Oregon, where she said that she would be safe from her boyfriend for a while. So that tells me, obviously, she was afraid of the boyfriend. I think she did did it say earlier that she put out or applied for a restraining order for him, against him, because she was afraid of him. She claimed that he had been abusive towards her. So family and friends believe that he was abusive after witnessing multiple fights between the two. They did observe bodily injuries and bruises on Krystyn. Krystyn's stepsister said that she also witnessed multiple, what she called, explosive fights between the couple. Bros said that Krystyn's boyfriend, who was 10 years her senior and married at the time, threatened her if she ever told police about the abuse. So Bro, the friend, said, quote, she was doing the best she could in that situation, end quote. So according to the National Coalition of DV, a DV survivor's reasons for staying in an abusive relationship are complex, and some will stay out of the hope that the relationship will get better, out of fear of more violence, threats, or inability to access resources on their own. So a study carried out by the authors from the Division of Violence Prevention and National Center for Injury Prevention and Control found that intimate partners represented 80% of homicide victims in a DV-related incident. Bro said that Krystyn told her and others that she needed to escape her boyfriend and felt like running away was the only option. So Krystyn was different. Krystyn was different when she was with him, according to her sister. It said that she was just devoid of her large, lively smile, her attitude. She just basically was the opposite, just shut down, basically. So Bro said, quote, she was trapped. I don't really believe in good and evil, but if there ever was an evil, he is it, end quote. So when Krystyn left home on October 14th, 1994, and was taken to her friend's house, her boyfriend did intercept her there, according to Bro and other friends. And then later, the couple allegedly departed together. So family and friends are convinced that Krystyn's boyfriend was the last person to see her, whether it was in Boise or McCall. According to Bro, Krystyn's boyfriend at the time returned from a visit in McCall without Krystyn. Convenient. Christy's friend said, quote, "There is no way that she would leave her brother Daniel without contacting him. He was her biggest love." Krystyn's family and the Boise police believe that she is likely deceased and foul play is involved. Her sister does not believe that Krystyn would run away and cease communication for 27 years to start a new life or possible self-harm. So at the time this article was written, it says that Corey Castro, 54, who was the boyfriend, walked into the Owyhee County Museum last week, where he was greeted by those who knew him within the community. So it says Castro, in gray latex gloves, a neck brace, and a beanie, strolled around and pondered the artifacts that covered the wooden floors. Castro was Krystyn's boyfriend when she went missing that October day. He now resides in Murphy, a small rural town with miles of farmland about an hour southwest of Boise. He is a registered SO who was charged and convicted in 1998 for lewd conduct with a minor, according to the Idaho SO registry. And once again, at the time of Krystyn's disappearance, he was on parole for theft. So it says he and Krystyn met when she worked at a Round Table Pizza booth at Art in the Park, which is a festival of art that is held every year in Boise. He worked for Coca-Cola at the time. During a walk through the museum, Castro maintained to the Idaho Press the last time that he saw Krystyn was in a meeting with his parole officer, which was also attended by Castro's wife at the time and Krystyn's mother. So the meeting ensued after Kim got in contact with the police to stop Castro from seeing Krystyn, who was just 17 at the time, and Castro was 27 at the time. So according to Castro, he was told by his parole officer that he could not continue seeing Krystyn, and said that after this meeting, he ceased all communication with her, according to him. Castro said that he did not realize that Krystyn was missing for the 10 years that he was in prison for his 1998 felony charge, which was 4 years after her disappearance. So nobody bothered to tell him, supposedly, that she was missing. So Castro was interrogated in the years following Krystyn's disappearance. He said after hours of questioning by Boise police, violent crime detectives in 2011, and a past polygraph test from his parole officer regarding Krystyn's disappearance, that his innocence has been validated. Make your own, take that information and do with it what you will. Make your own decision. Just feel free to let me know in chat what you think. But it said the polygraph was done by the parole officer. Why wasn't it done by a police? Which we all know that polygraphs aren't admissible anyway. It's just kind of a gauge for police to kind of know what to, you know. So Castro went on to say, quote, "Between the interrogation, a parole officer, and a polygraph, I don't see how they can turn around and go against science." If he's talking about the polygraph test, that's not science. Like I said, it's not admissible. Polygraph tests are fallible. I mean, they're not always correct. There can be false positives, there can be false negatives. So he says, quote, "You've got two detectives that are the best in the police department trying to interrogate you, and afterwards they say that she is a runaway and I'm not a person of interest no more," end quote. So according to the Idaho Supreme Court, polygraphs are not admissible as evidence in court and are, quote, "not accepted in the scientific community as a reliable method of ascertaining the truth," end quote. So Castro said that he and Krystyn rarely fought. So that kind of goes against what her family and friends observed. They allegedly say they observed. And that he could not recall any blow-up arguments. He denied ever seeing Krystyn in McCall and added that he was not aware it was where she was last spotted. So he says, quote, "I didn't know that she lived in McCall. I didn't even know that she had a job there," end quote. So he stated that he understands the grief of those close to Krystyn, the grief that those close to Krystyn are going through, but he said information about him is being fabricated to place blame. He thinks Krystyn left to get away from her family because he remembered her discussing moving to California. So her friend said, though, earlier in this article, or one of the articles, said that her friend said that she had mentioned wanting to go to Oregon, I believe it was. So Castro says, quote, "They are placing their grief on me and trying to vindicate themselves of any hurt," end quote. Still, Krystyn's family speculates that Castro is involved in her disappearance, and her stepsister believes that her body was disposed of somewhere in Idaho. So Krystyn's stepsister believes that that Krystyn is a DV victim who intended to come back to her family when foul play may have cut Krystyn's life short. Furman does not want people to judge Krystyn as a trouble kid, but remember her as the adventurous, loyal person that she was, and as a victim who still has no justice. Furman described the unimaginable thought of Krystyn's possible last moments being somewhere in an unmarked grave all alone, which she said breaks her heart. I can't imagine. So her sister says, quote, "She's a person, she's a sister, she's a daughter, she is part of our family that is gone. Give us a way to say goodbye," end quote. So Furman does want a proper funeral, but especially to give closure to their grieving mother. Furman said, quote, "As a mom, I can't imagine not knowing what happened to one of my kids and never being able to hug them again or to say goodnight," end quote. Krystyn's sister wishes those who get to know Krystyn's case will refrain from seeing her as a runaway, but someone who deserves to be found and put to rest. Furman says, quote, "She was my sister. This is not her. This wasn't who she was. To be gone this long, the more attention, the better," end quote. Absolutely. That is why we are here sharing these cases. So Krystyn's family is still searching for answers. A reward fund organized by Furman for information leading to Krystyn's location is set up in Krystyn's name, and the family donation or encourages donations of any size. Once again, this is an older article. I don't know if that's still active or not. So a vigil was held in December of that year to bring attention to her case and to reflect on her life. As of November 2021, Krystyn's age progress photo has been updated by NCMEC, and her information is posted on multiple national databases. It's listed on Idaho's Missing Persons Clearinghouse, Charley Project, NCIC. Once again, those with information are encouraged to contact the Boise PD at 208-377-6790. I don't know. The boyfriend could be telling the truth. Who knows? But it did say that when she was dropped off at this friend's house, that the friend said that she and Castro, the boyfriend, left together. And then after that, she has not been seen again. Not saying he had anything to do with it, just stating what the friend said. I think I had one more. Wait, maybe. Okay. One more article about Krystyn. So this article is from, when is it from? May 2024. So a couple of years ago. A BPD and family of a Boise woman asking for help. In the fall of 1994, 17-year-old Krystyn Ray Dunlap Bowes was reported as a runaway after leaving a note to her family saying that she would be back in a year and she needed to get away. 4 years later, she was listed as missing and endangered. Chuck Roth, who is a violent crimes detective at the Boise PD, said, quote, detectives were still trying to follow up with leads to see her whereabouts. The case went cold and it was reopened back in 2011. So did they close it and reopen it? Because then it goes on to say the case was reopened again in 2021, according to Detective Roth. He says some abundance of information came forward that we are able to work with. This is no longer a missing persons case. It's a homicide or a unaliver that we are trying to investigate. This is what led us to where we are today. So I wonder who their suspected offender is. So BPD and Krystyn's family are asking the public for any information about this gray 1989 Camaro that we mentioned earlier, as they believe that it was used to transport her body after she was killed. So that goes back to what I was talking about earlier. If that's the case, if that's what happened, with it changing hands so many times, anything that they might find in there, any defense attorney worth their salt would say, no, it's not admissible. You can't, So the podcast, which is called Lost and Found Muscle Cars, reached out to BPD and produced a segment on the vehicle. They explained the characteristics of the classic car and the VIN. So the car was last seen in Sun Valley, Nevada in 2000, has not been registered since or destroyed or recycled in any way. So apparently, at least as of the writing of this article, it's still around somewhere. So Detective Rose says the previous owners of the car are not connected to the case and the new owners will get the car back. So they have the car? Do police have the car? I guess so. Detective Rose said, quote, we will borrow it for a short time. So maybe they're looking for it. So he's saying if somebody brings the car forward, he says, quote, we will borrow it for a short time, get the evidence we need and give it back, end quote. So Detective Roth encouraged people to think about the family and how they are feeling. He said, quote, we are trying to get the final piece of the puzzle so the family can start moving on and justice is served, end quote. Krystyn's mom, Kim, says, quote, we need your help. We are not just a story in a book. We are real people, just like your mom, your dad, going through what they would go through if you went missing, end quote. Absolutely. But I mean, what do you guys think about if somebody does come forward and say, hey, I've got the car, take it, test it, whatever. I just don't know. I don't think that they would allow it to be entered into evidence if they found anything, which is so obviously bad, because if they said that they believe that this vehicle could have been used to transport Krystyn's body after she was killed. So that is obviously a major piece of evidence. Unbelievable. All right. Okay, so I think that is all I had on her. All right. Let me get back into your comments right quick, and then we'll move on to the next one. Oh my gosh, my comments disappeared. What happened? What happened? I can't see any comments. There they are. Okay, they came back. Whew. Scared me for a minute. My computer is wonky as usual. Let me get down. I don't know. Don't know if I remember to mark where I left off. Hold on. Give me a minute to get back. Whew, I'm still hot in here. Okay, I might have went back too far. Hold on. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Oh, Paula says she had to restart her computer. Google Chrome decided to Google. Just my opinion. Google Chrome sucks, and I have to use Google Chrome on my phone to go to use StreamYard. Anyway. Z, Ms. Yeah, Ms. Z told Echoes, you should be good at ducking the brush by now. Should we ask Mrs. Echo? Mrs. Echoes has probably thrown a brush at him a time or two. If he's as ornery with her as he is with me, well, we're ornery with each other. It's both ways. He says he does. That is, you are a smart man. He says, I try not to do anything to provoke the missus. Yeah, because she's Italian. You know how them Italians are. I knew Dandy was going to come up with, if you can duck a brush, you can duck a ball. Oh, God, Dandy, I missed that. I thought about that last night in Dave's chat. He was throwing wrenches around, and I thought of Dandy saying, if you can dodge a ball, you can dodge a wrench, or if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Oh, goodness gracious. Good times. Yeah, Miss Marian's got red flags. I know. I have questions. As Ms. Z says, I have questions about the 10 years older married boyfriend. Yep, he says the missus is Italian. I'd end up in a hole in the desert. Yeah, or sleeping with the fishes. One. Yep, Mustang has the red flags, most definitely. Doodle says almost suspicious. Dandy says, I love how her name is spelled. I'm a Krystyn. Yeah, is it Krystyn? Oh, God, don't even get me started. No, that's for another show when we have a fun show talking about these god-awful spellings, alternate spellings of names that these parents come up with nowadays. Good Lord. That is the question. As he says, my question is, who owned that Camaro that she may have been in? Yep. That is the question. And apparently they're obviously looking for it because they think, or they have a theory that she could have been transported in that vehicle after she was unalived. Yeah, Chris says, my question is, has Castro been considered a suspect in this case? So it said, I think, earlier in the article that the Boise PD has refused to say if they have any suspects or to name any suspects. Now, that does not mean that they don't have suspects and they're just not saying publicly. But which I'm not a professional anything, but if it was me, he would definitely be probably number one on my list to talk to. Yep, Ms. Z says, yep, I would hope so. Yep, she's beautiful. Yep. And she was just what, 17, I think. Yeah. Hey, Sunday Doodles. Good to see ya. We got Doodles in gray and we got Sunday Doodles. Sorry, I think I hit my camera. Good to see ya. Sunday says, so she did not, so did she not have food? See, that's what I was wondering, going back to, because the friend said that's how they met, was in school at lunchtime. She always had the friend had a chicken sandwich and she would always half it and give half of it to Krystyn. So I'm assuming maybe, I don't know, by choice or not by choice, that Krystyn didn't have anything to eat for lunch. Yes, very heartbreaking. Dandy says, Krystyn sounds like a lovely woman. I would party with her. Yeah, talking about TPing. Z says, toilet paper costs too much these days for those shenanigans. I agree. Everything is too expensive. Let's see. Yep, absolutely. Hey, Tomboy Charm, good to see you. Hello, hello. Seen a lot of names that I haven't seen in here in a while. Welcome. Tomboy says McCall is only about 7 to 8 hours from Portland, Oregon. Yeah, she had mentioned, or her friends said that she had mentioned that Krystyn had mentioned that she wanted to go to Oregon. So, but I'm still just wondering about the friend saying that when Krystyn was dropped off at the friend's house, where she was gonna, go away for a year. Didn't they said, the friends said that Krystyn and Castro, the boyfriend, left together. But she said Krystyn was trying to get away from the boyfriend. So did he persuade her to go with him, to leave with him? Because it was a DV allegedly a DV situation, even though he says it wasn't. But so did he persuade her to leave with him somehow, and then she's never seen again? And there is Seahawks fan, Miss Tandy, I believe, right? Oh, y'all been gone so long, I forgot. Miss Tandy, good to see you. Good to see you. I'm glad everybody is coming back in here. I've missed you guys. How have y'all been doing? Let's see. Yeah, Miss Marianne's got her red flags going again. Do I still have my everybody hold your ears if you got earplugs in, if you got earbuds in. All right, that's enough of that. Sorry. I did that one time and scared the crap out of Mr. Steve. I felt so bad. See, I could break out the sounds that StreamYard has, like Dave does. Dave has way too much fun playing with the sounds. 14. No, I think she was 17. Let me go back and check. She was 17. Christy was 17 when she went missing. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Dandy. Do most definitely. If you do nothing else with your life, go sub up to Trial Junkies United. They are fantastic. Z and Doc and Moo the Cat. We love them. We love them so much. Yeah, Sunday Doodle says, I cannot imagine having a daughter going through that. Yeah. Yep. See, and I tend to believe, I mean, once again, innocent until and unless proven guilty of doing something. But Castro said no, there was no DV going on. He doesn't conveniently, he doesn't remember any kind of fighting. But then you have family and friends of Krystyn saying yes, there was DV situation going on. There were fights. They did see bruises and injuries on Krystyn. Just my opinion. I tend to believe the family. I mean, you know, why would they lie about that? It's just my opinion. Thank you so much, Miss Tandy. Says, just wanted to stop by and show you some love. I give you that love right back. Let me see. Once again, there's Miss PJ. Absolutely. Ms. Z says, you always look at the partner that is missing 101. Absolutely. You look at the ones closest to them and then you work your way out. Junior's back. He says, has Krystyn been missing since she was 17? Yes, sir. She's been missing. She was 17 years old when she went missing. Yes. Now, they do think, so at first she was considered just a runaway. And then I believe it's changed from runaway to missing endangered. And then now, when they reopened the case or started reinvestigating the case in, what was it, 2011, somewhere around there, now they say that it was most likely, unfortunately, a homicide, and that this Camaro that they're looking for is what possibly could have been used to transport her body after she was unalived. So, yeah. This is true. Heather Hebby says, even if it's not an evidence, I'm assuming you're talking about the car, at least they would know if they're involved. Yes, absolutely. Even if they couldn't admit it into evidence, yeah, at least that would give them, you know, say, hey, okay, we found her blood ever in this car, so let's go do some more investigating and find some other evidence that we can use for these people that could be involved. Yes, Miss Marion says, you think after so many years that somebody would know something. Oh, somebody definitely knows something. Somebody knows something. This is just my opinion. I think, unfortunately, that it probably is foul play, whether or not it was the boyfriend or somebody else. Somebody knows, somebody always knows something. Somebody always knows something. Now, whether or not they man up or woman up or whatever to come forward to give this information, that's always the thing. Somebody has got to come forward with some information. This is true. This is true. Yeah, that vehicle did. Thank you for bringing up Morgan Nick's case. Tomboy Charm said they did allow the blood evidence that they found in the truck of the guy, Billy Jack Lynch, who has now been named the prime suspect in the Morgan Nick case from here in Arkansas. And this was, yeah, 30 plus years later. Yeah. But see, the thing is, though, because he had already passed away a long time before they finally tracked the truck down, found this evidence. I think it was actually a hair that they found. And then they did find some pieces of fabric or what am I looking for? That matched or was similar to the green Girl Scout shirt that Morgan was last known to be wearing or was wearing when she disappeared. Now, whether or not he had still been alive and they had taken it to trial, would they have been able to admit it as evidence? I don't know. Because I think I don't know if it changed, how many times it changed hands, or if it did change hands. I think it did. Somebody did buy it, or somebody else ended up with it, and they did allow the police to search it, to process it. Now I'm sure the police did also get a search warrant just to make sure everything, dot the I's and cross the T's. You're very welcome. What did you say, Miss Paula? What did you say? I'm sorry if I misspoke, if I attributed somebody's comment to your comment to somebody else. I think school lunches sucked everywhere. Yeah, Tomboy Charm says, I can say from experience, school lunches in Idaho in the 80s and 90s sucked. I would go without eating the lunches most days too. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe that was it. Maybe Krystyn's friend brought the chicken sandwich with her, packed a sack lunch or whatever from home, and maybe Krystyn just didn't want to eat the school food. Now some school food was good. The pizza was good. I enjoyed the pizza. I always liked pizza day. Anyway, but yeah, that could have been it. Krystyn just didn't want to eat the school food, so she ate half of a chicken sandwich. Dandy says, I don't believe that she's alive after all these years. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't. We always try to remain hopeful and hope for the best possible outcome, but just with the statements, when they reopened the case and started reinvestigating it, and they say that this car she could have been transported in this car after she was killed. Yeah, just yep, absolutely. Miss Paula says she loves seeing everyone. I do too. Tomboy says she's just trying to behave and sewing a ton of crap. Trying to get my screen here where I can easier to read. Wait, Doc is working on getting what? Z says Doc is working on getting some, so watch out. What is he working on getting? I'm scared. Do I need to be scared? Yep, Mustang says praying that the family gets answers. Absolutely. Yep, Z says 17 is too young, breaks my heart. You are very welcome, ma'am. You and Doc are very deserving of support. Do such wonderful work, bringing attention to injustice cases, corruption, indigenous cases. Like I said, the last 24 hours have been such a total shocker and downer with things coming out, but there are good people here that do this. Trial Junkies United, Z Doc, they are one of the good guys. And I do believe there are more good than bad. But yeah, definitely. No, I don't want to get notifications. Okay. So Tomboy says there were a few bodies found near the Idaho-Oregon border years ago that were accidentally disposed of before proper ID was made. What? So how were they accidentally disposed of on the outside somewhere? That needs to be looked into. Yeah, I knew Z says, really? Do you know what year? I would like to look into that. I knew Z was going to jump on that. Oh, what did I do? Sorry. I'm pushing buttons. Watch out. Yep. So they says she went missing at 17, but that means he was dating her as a minor before she went missing. Exactly. And as Miss Z says, children cannot consent to anything. And if you're under 18, you're technically a minor and a child. Dandy says, she is such a beautiful child. I don't think she's alive, but I hope she's found someday. Absolutely. Absolutely. Z says, exactly. And he would be considered a child creeper, which he should have been at the time. I agree. Z says, it makes me think the car was his. You talking about Castro? It's possible. But I mean, they just have a basic description of it. So, you know, I haven't been able to find it. Don't have a VIN for it. So, I mean, so yeah, if they could find the car, can you track a VIN? I know you can track a registration, like when you get tags on the car and get it registered through the DMV. It's associated with your name, with whoever registered it. But do they also take the VIN numbers? So if they just had a VIN number, can they run the VIN number and see who it was attached to or registered by? Oh, yeah. Do I need to put up the signal? Mustang said, where is Mr. Steve? Say his name 3 times and he'll show. Okay, hold on. Mr. Steve, Mr. Steve, Mr. Steve. And let me find the, where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Here we go. Okay, I said his name 3 times and I put the signal up. We'll see if it works. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. Oh, Paula said you were the one that said if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Okay, okay. Tomboy says, are you talking about instead of eating school lunches, that most people will go to the Roach Coach and get a burrito and soda for $1. Oh no, so Doc is playing with sounds now. Oh goodness. Oh Lord help us. Just don't let him and Dave get together with the sounds. Lord have mercy. Yep. PJ says yes, there are good people. Absolutely. It's just so scary that you just don't know. We found out, like I said, we found out that people that we think are good turn out not to be not so good. So, but yes, I do agree. There are, in my opinion, more good people than bad. But it's just you with the mainstream media and a lot of other media and you know all the YouTube true crime YouTube channels, you always just hear about the bad. We need more good stories. Okay, so going back to these accidentally disposed bodies, Tomboy says they were bones, not hard to dispose of, I reckon. So who disposed of them? Said they were accidentally disposed of without being identified. So does that mean that they were disposed by not necessarily law enforcement, but like medical examiners or something? You're gonna have to let me, I need to know more about that. Yeah, Paula says 18-year-olds can give consent. Yeah, but she was just 17 when she went missing. So like Z said, or whoever said it, when they, however long that they've been dating, she was definitely under 18, which now I know in some states it's different. The age of consent can be as young as 16, which in my opinion, that's not right. But yeah, she was under 18. Tomboy says, I think state of Idaho back then, age of consent was 16. See, I still think 18, no matter what. Just my opinion. Z says, but didn't they also say the car had been bought and sold? They can run the VIN number. Yes, I figured that was how they knew the car had been bought and sold. I don't remember. Let me go back. Yes, yeah. They said it had been bought and sold. I'm assuming because they said that whoever the owners were now would get the car back after it was processed. So yeah, I'm assuming that it was bought. Yeah, so that is a good point. I didn't think about that. But see, they have to find it first, though. Apparently, they don't know where it is. That's why they're asking if you have a car, this car, you know, bring it to us. We'll process it and we'll give it back to you. Yeah, that bothers me too. Sunday says, bothers me that she shared food at school, ran away more than once, and was allowed to date this much older guy. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, the parents had to know. I mean, I say they had to know. I don't know. Unless she was just very good at keeping it a secret. But no, but her family, it says members of her family noticed bruises and injuries on her from him. So that leads me to believe that they did know that she was dating him and that he was older. I don't, and married, he was married. So yeah, that leads me to believe that they did know. Just my opinion. I don't know for sure. Okay, Tomboy said, what? Sheriff's office, from what I remember. Oh, the sheriff's office. Are you talking about the disposed bones? The sheriff's office did it? Oh, my God. Lord help us. Okay, I'm caught up once again. So we will go to the next one. Got a little one. And I think I may have featured this one before. This is Jason Keith Cannon. But never, you know, you can never share too many times. So this is Jason Keith Cannon. He went missing March 16th, 1983 from Boise. This is classified as a non-family abduction, but I think it mentions that it is classified as a non-family abduction just because they really don't have anything to go off of. He just is one of those where he seemingly vanished into thin air, which we know that can't happen, but so here's a white male. He was just 2 years old when he went missing. He was 3 feet tall, 37 pounds, with blonde hair and brown eyes. He does have a 1-inch scar over his eye, 2 moles on his neck, and possibly more on his back. He was last seen wearing a blue and yellow shirt, blue bib overalls, and black sneakers. So Jason was last seen on the front porch of his family's residence in Boise at around 2 p.m. on March 16th, 1983. His mother was supervising him outside, but she went inside the house for a few minutes now to get his jacket. So to me, a few minutes is up to interpretation. Do a few minutes mean 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? To me, that makes all the difference in the world of how fast he disappeared. So his mother went inside to get his jacket. She was in the house for what she says a few minutes to get his jacket. When she came back outside, Jason had disappeared. He has never been heard from again, and an extensive search of the area turned up no sign of him. Authorities initially thought that Jason had fallen into the canal near his home. They did find a toy bucket, which Jason's friends identified as his. It was found west of Stilson Road near the Boise River, which is about a third of a mile from his home. So this is what I go back to. How long? What does she mean by a few minutes? Now we all know that 2-year-old, he's 2 years old, right? 2-year-olds can move fast. But a third of a mile. So if she was only gone for, let's say you run in and get the jacket, maybe a minute, 2 minutes. Could he have gone? I mean, Could he have gone? I mean, he could have gotten a good ways away, but if they begin searching immediately, which I believe they did, they would have found him. It looks like they would have would have been able to catch up to him. So, however, they said Jason was afraid of the water, and at the time of his disappearance, okay, let me start over again. However, Jason was afraid of the water, and at the time of his disappearance, his older brother was on the way home from school, and his mother was baking brownies in the oven, meaning he had no reason to wander out of his yard. Once again, 2-year-olds. 2-year-olds will do whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do it. So investigators now believe that Jason was abducted by a non-family member and may still be alive. So that's a plus if there's a plus. And his case remains unsolved. So another theory, obviously, is that he could have fallen into the river, or he was abducted. And I think, let me see if I have an article, but I do remember reading that they mentioned that they found this toy bucket. Jason's friends said that was Jason's, but Jason's parents said that they did not recognize the bucket and they did not think it was his bucket. So it could be irrelevant to his case. Right, let me find the article. So this first article is from January 2025, so recent. 1983 mystery of missing toddler haunts Boise as detectives cling to new DNA hope. So for Boise police, it is not an easy task. Cracking a case more than 41 years unsolved could help bring peace to an Idaho family who never knew what became of young Jason Cannon, whose case resurfaced in 2024. Paul Jagosh, who is a violent crimes detective with the Boise PD, said, quote, "It drove the detective nuts then. He just flat out disappeared and they had no information of his disappearance," end quote. A 2-year-old Cannon's story has haunted the city since 1983. According to police, his mother went inside the home to grab a jacket for her son to wear that chilly March day. When she came outside to dress him, he was nowhere to be found. An extensive search followed, including help from a dive team in case Jason had fallen into the canal. One of the members of the dive team said in a 1983 interview, quote, "In my opinion, and the other 2 divers that are with me, there's no chance at all. We really don't feel that he went into the canal after making our search," end quote. He goes on to say, quote, "Judging from all of the brush and some of the deep holes, we don't see any way he could have gotten any farther." So I think what they're saying is the terrain maybe between the house, Jason's house, and to get to the river was maybe rough, and that he could have made it through that terrain to get to the canal to fall into it. Now my computer froze up. There we go. So that left investigators to consider the possibility of a kidnapping. Officials with the Boise PD told KBOI in 1983 that they had a few leads. Someone in the community reported seeing a boy with an older man in the downtown area at night. Police also said that a gray van, there's always a van, said a gray van was reported driving what they called aimlessly near Jason's apartment complex. 41 years later, detectives hope that DNA technology can serve as a tool to identify new leads since the others went cold. Jason went missing 3 years before DNA technology was used as evidence for the first time in U.S. criminal courts. Detective Jagosh says, quote, "We're not going to give up on Jason Cannon's disappearance. and we're going to work it until we either find him or we never find him, I guess. So they're in other words, they said they're never going to stop regardless. He goes on to say, we need the public's help to generate leads. Given the department's recent success in solving a homicide from the same decade using the genealogy DNA approach, they hope to close the door on this case and have answers for the Cannon family. So once again, if you have any information about any cold case in Boise, you can contact the Boise PD. You can also contact Crime Stoppers of Southwest Idaho at 208-343-COPS, which is 2677, or you can submit tips to www.343cops.com. So as far as what I'm assuming what they mean by DNA is, because they didn't mention, he basically, vanished into thin air, disappeared. So any DNA, I'm assuming, would be used to identify any unidentified remains that were found. They would test that DNA against DNA of unidentifieds. Since I'm assuming they don't have any suspects, any other DNA, what other DNA would they compare it to? So, and I'm assuming that probably the family members have given their DNA to test against, like I said, DNA of unidentified remains. So, I think I might have had one more article. Gosh, my computer is laggy again. Okay. Come on. It's lagging. Excuse me. So this is from the Idaho Statesman. It is from April 2024. We don't give up. Could Boise toddler who went missing in 1983 still be alive? On March 16th, 1983, 2-year-old Jason Keith Cannon went missing. Go away, ad. From his home in Boise's North End. Boise police are now asking for the public's assistance in hopes of solving the 41-year-old case. Wearing blue overalls and a yellow and blue shirt, Jason was last seen around 2 p.m. on the front porch of his apartment complex at 939 North 32nd Street, according to a previous Idaho Statesman reporting. His mother had gone inside to get his jacket, but when she returned, he was gone. See, I still want to know exactly how long she was inside. Now, she just went in to grab his jacket right quick and be back out. I would say no more than a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. It could have been longer. I mean, to me, that makes all the difference in the world about, if she was only going inside for let's say a minute, he couldn't have got that far. I mean, it looks like they would have found him or caught up to him. Anyway, I know I keep harping on that, but so police, neighbors, and volunteers did an extensive search of the surrounding neighborhoods in the weeks that followed, including combing a small canal called Sand Creek that ran behind the apartment complex, as well as portions of the Boise River, but Jason was never found. Oh man, it won't let me read all of it. Dang it, just when I was getting to the good part. Man, I hate it when it throws me behind the paywall. I think basically it's the same thing talking about the DNA. Because it says Boise police last year solved the cold case homicide of 65-year-old Joyce Casper using a new technique that involves genealogy. Detectives were able to compare DNA found at the crime scene with what was available on these ancestry websites. And I hate it when it throws them behind a paywall. Anyway. Once again, let me get back into your comments. There we go. Um, Yeah, Tomboy says, back then, every teenager ran away, shared food, drank on the weekends, and almost always dated older guys. Unless it was me, I dated older girls. Yeah, I mean, typical teenagers. I mean, I don't think I ever dated older guys. Well, maybe a couple, a year or so older back then. But yeah, I did my share of. I never ran away. I threatened to run away, but I mean, around here, my family was like, okay, I'm going to run away. Okay. I'll pack your bags for you. Here you go. Good luck, you know. Um, but yeah, I shared food with friends. I drank on the weekends. I dated my fair share of guys. Like I said, not 10 years older guys, maybe, a year or so older, but, yeah, just typical teenage behavior. Uh, Paula says, which case you're talking about? Paula says, is he or his wife considered the suspects? Are you talking about in Krystyn's case, Castro and the wife? I don't know. The police never or said that they have not publicly named any or refused. I think they said refused to name any suspects. Oh yeah, Tomboy says that's why I accidentally was put in quotations. Yeah, I got you. I got you. Oh wow. Junior says, I listened to a podcast today. They were looking for a lady for over 30 years and they finally found her car in a river. Oh, and she was in the trunk. So I was going to say she accidentally drove in the river, but no, if she was in the trunk, that was an accident. Uh, wow. I might have to look into that. Do you know a name on that, Junior? I know Junior said he was laying down listening. Yeah, in the trunk is definitely not an accident. Yeah. Little Keith was 2 years old. I don't know. Like I said, all depending on the few minutes, he could have been snatched because supposedly the witnesses said they saw this gray van just driving aimlessly around the apartment complex. So yeah, possible that he could have been snatched because I mean, that could happen. That happens just in a snap of a finger. Unfortunately, kids can be snatched. Or he could have went into this terrain going towards these bodies of water. They did mention holes, but you would assume with the extensive search they did, they would have looked down any holes to make sure that he didn't fall in a hole. So I don't know. I don't know. I think he could have been snatched. I don't know. Fire truck's going off. What? Oh, Marion says, I'm back. Fire truck's going off. Oh, our high school basketball team won sectionals to go to the championship. Congratulations. I'm hearing fire trucks and police cars freak me out. So, do the fire trucks and police cars have anything to do with the basketball team winning? See, I know during football season here, high school football, when we win games, they shoot off fireworks, which we can actually hear them out here on the farm. We can hear them from town. Tomboy says this little boy and the little boy from Grangeville that disappeared have always bothered me. What's the name? And I'll look at it. Grangeville, Idaho. Yeah, give me a name and I'll be more than happy to look at it. Yeah, Miss Marion's got her red flags. Yes, Paula says 2-year-olds will run all over the place. Yes, they will. I did my fair share of babysitting when I was younger. I chased around my little brothers and little cousins when they were 2 years, young. Of course, I don't know. We were really close in age. except for me and my baby brother. He's 9, almost 10 years younger than me. I worked at a daycare for two or 3 years. So yeah, 2-year-olds are fast. They're fast and they're sneaky little suckers. Yeah, Tomboy says the bucket was never positively linked to him. Yeah, because I do remember it didn't mention it in that article, but I have read several articles about this case, and like I said, the friends said that the bucket was Keith's, but then the parents said no, we don't recognize it. It's not his. So yeah. Tomboy says I remember reading that they've employed IgG, which is investigative genetic genealogy, to try and find him. Yeah. Thank you, Junior. Junior says it's midnight here in Michigan. I'm heading to bed. Thanks, Dawn and everyone. You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for being here and for your continued support. Junior is a longtime supporter. He's been here from the beginning. I've known Junior even before I had my channel. I would see him in chats, usually Mr. Steve's chat. So it's always a pleasure to have Junior here. Z says, wasn't this one close to a highway? Let me see. Well, it had to be close to some kind of obviously to some kind of road, because it was an apartment complex, so that you would think it was in town. It wasn't like in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, definitely close. I'm sure there was definitely, if we go on the theory that he was snatched, most definitely could have just, once again, the rumors or the witnesses said they saw this van, the gray van, could have very well drove up, snatched him, and been gone, just like that. Which is just so scary, how fast children can be snatched. That's what I'm saying. Sunday Doodle says, what if mom was in the house longer than a few minutes? She was baking. Yeah, she mentioned she was baking brownies. So did she go in to get the jacket and then she was messing with the brownies? So a few minutes could have been 10 minutes, which would give him longer. Either if he wasn't snatched, it would give him a longer time to get further away. And then, obviously if he was snatched, it would be longer for somebody to come and snatch him. So that's why I want to know exactly what she meant by a few minutes. So, yep, that's what I say. Yeah, Sonny says he could have gotten a lot further away. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Marion says, please share. Yeah, Z says someone could have picked him up too. Absolutely. Yep, once again, do all the things. Ms. Z says someone wanting a child could have napped him, so that is an option. Timing is everything. You could go in to use the restroom and grab a jacket. Where was the jacket located? I have questions. Yes, see, that's what I'm saying. If she just went in and grabbed the jacket, if it was just right inside the door, run in, grab it, 30 seconds, a minute at the most, and be back out. But where was the jacket? If she had to go into another room, a bedroom or whatever, to get the jacket. And like Sunday Doodles said, or I think it was Sunday Doodles, did she stop and check on the brownies? Once again, the wording, how long was a few minutes? It makes a difference. I've got my squirrel brain, one track mind. Yeah, Sunday says, I am not comfortable with the timeline. I agree. Yep. Mustang says, I was thinking that too. Who is 29? I'm confused now. Yep. So I say, yeah. Z says, I tried to run away when I was 5. I stopped as my mother was helping me pack my bag. As she put stuff in it, I started taking it out. Reverse psychology can work. Yeah. So I sit around here. I'm going to run away. Well, okay. I'll help, I'll help you pack your bag. Come on, let's go. Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. Tomboy says, I didn't need to run away. I graduated high school when I was 16. Oh, are you talking about Krystyn's case? Yeah, he was 20, 26, 29. Yeah, he was 10 years older than her. Yeah, dating, married and dating a teen. Yeah, definitely weird. Absolutely. That's why I have questions about that too. Um, Z said in the Keith's case, Z says child creeper to me. Yeah, that's what I lean towards. I mean, because you would have think that with all the searching they've done, that they would have found something. Now we know that's not always true. I mean, depending on the terrain, it can be hard. But yeah, to disappear that fast, if like I said, if we're going on the assumption that it was just a minute or 30 seconds to a minute that the mom was inside and he disappeared that fast, yeah. um I still love that name, Cat Benatar. Tomboy says, me and Cat Benatar need to have a come to Jesus meeting. You sound like me talking about my cats. We have several come to Jesus meetings. uh Yeah, Doodle says, I never went away. I knew if my grandma caught me, my life was over. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay. Tomboy says, Richard Ricky Barnett, who was then 2, went missing from his grandparents' farm in Grangeville, Idaho on August 31st, 1982. I will most definitely look at that. Z says, how far away was the apartment from where he was playing? I think he was just playing right in the front yard. Let me go back to, or well, because there's different kind of apartment complexes. You have like uh, the apartments that are they're basically separate buildings, but they're like all together, kind of like a little mini houses. And then you have apartments that you actually like multi-story apartments that you go into. You have to go into a door and then into your apartment. Hold on, let me go back. It says he was playing on the front porch of his family's residence. His mother was supervising him outside, but she went inside the house for a few minutes to get his jacket. When she came back outside, he had disappeared. So I want to find, it must have been in the article where it mentioned, oh dang, why did I close that out? So in the article, it mentioned that the witnesses had said that there was this gray van that was driving aimlessly around the apartment complex. Let me see if I can find it to make sure I read it right. Oh, that's the wrong. Let me get the right article. Now you got me thinking. That's dangerous. Um, okay, so officials with the Boise PD told KBOI in 1983 they had a few leads. Someone in the community reported seeing a boy with an older man in the downtown area. And then police also said a gray van was reported driving aimlessly near Jason's apartment complex. So I'm assuming, like I was saying earlier, that these apartments are kind of like just individual house type apartments, because it said he disappeared off the porch of his family's or he was playing on the porch of his family's residence when he disappeared. And then they reported seeing this gray van driving around the apartment complex. Oh, I understand. Sunday Doodle says not blaming mom at all, just looking at timelines and potential. Absolutely. Are you talking about in the other case? Tomboy said the grandparents were looked at for years in the other case. Oh, in this case, as well as Ricky's case out of Grangeville. Excellent. Mustang says she's going to check out Ricky's case also. Yeah, so Z says that sounds like a house, not an apartment. Am I wrong about that? So was this how? So I wish I could find. So we have, like I said, there's different kinds of what they call apartment complexes. So there's complexes where it's kind of like a little housing development is what it looks like, but it's actually apartments, but it's separate houses, like little houses. They usually have, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 bedrooms, but you can actually drive through. It's like a little suburb kind of thing. I mean, at least we have them down here. But then you have, so I'm assuming that's the kind of apartments that they're talking about. It's like these little, instead of, as opposed to a building type apartment complex where it's like a multi-stories, and you have to go actually inside of a door, like an outside door, and then go to your individual apartment inside the main building, if that makes any sense. So just going by this description, I'm assuming it was the kind of complex where it's just individual house type apartments. Tomboy says Ricky's case is a whole dumpster fire. Just my opinion, though. Yeah, single level apartments, but yeah, single level apartments. Yeah. Yes, they do have those type of like single level apartments, house type apartments. They do have porches. They're very small porches, but they do have porches. Absolutely. Yes, it has been an excellent chat tonight. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Like a housing complex. Yeah. Marion said like a housing complex is, yes. Yep. Okay. Z said, just found a picture. It looks like a big building, like they had several apartments in a building, not really a front porch from the picture. Okay. So that changes. I mean, so maybe they meant, so if it was a building apartments, was he just outside the main building playing like on the sidewalk, and then the mom had to go actually inside the building up or to the apartment, grab the jacket, and then come back? Now that would make a difference, most definitely. Most definitely. That would make a world of difference. Yeah, or like a stoop, yeah. Oh, I understand. So Tomboy says, okay, and on that note, I'm being beckoned to bed. Cat Benatar is not listening to the voices of reason. Cats never listen to, you cannot reason with a cat. Cannot reason with a cat. But good night, Tomboy. It was so good seeing you and Miss Tandy. I missed you guys. Haven't seen you in a while. So thank you. Thank you for stopping by. All right. Get another quick drink and we will go on to our next one. This may be the last one. This may be the one that connects to the one we talked about earlier. Oh, is Miss Marion going too? Hold on. All right. All right, let me get my articles loading. Ooh, okay. No, I don't want to sign in. Stop. All right. Yeah, so this is Jeremy Carl Burt. So this goes back to the one that is connected to Ahren. Let me go back to, is that him? Ahren, that we talked about earlier, that said they could be connected. They had some mutual things going on. So let me give you the basic information. So Jeremy went missing on, or has been missing since February 11th, 2007. He was 33 years old when he went missing. He would be 52 years old as of 2026. At the time he went missing, he was 6'2", 197, with a brown hair, hazel eyes. He does have a scar on his knee and a 2-inch scar on the left side of his chest. He wore a goatee at the time of his disappearance. Last known clothing, a dark colored turtleneck and Levi's jeans. And he was diagnosed with ADHD as a child. So Jeremy was last seen in the 2200 block of Hervey Street in Boise at around 10:30 p.m. on February 11, 2007. He left his father's house and he was en route to a friend's house, but he had never arrived at the friend's house. Shortly after his disappearance, his ex-wife Kim George got a text message from Jeremy's phone stating that he planned to disappear and was moving to a new address and getting a new life. So Kim, the ex-wife, says, based on the wording of the message and the context, she does not believe that these text messages were actually from Jeremy. And after that, he has never been seen or heard from again. So in May of 2007, the red Mercury Cougar that Jeremy had been driving at the time of his disappearance was found abandoned and burned in an extremely remote desert area in the Owyhee Desert in southwest Idaho, 45 miles north of the Nevada state line. So this vehicle did belong to Jeremy. Authorities searched the car. They found no evidence as to Jeremy's whereabouts. At the time of his disappearance, Jeremy was living with his father and his baby daughter. So this is where we get into the rabbit hole. So at the time he was living with his father and his baby daughter. He had an affair with his attorney, Jeannie Braun, and he had tape recorded conversations with her about illegal activity that she was allegedly involved in. So apparently another individual was also secretly recording Jeannie. And this evidence came to the attention of the police. So as a result, Jeannie was charged, the attorney Jeannie was charged with several felonies. She was disbarred. Jeremy testified against her before a grand jury in 2004. They say it is unclear whether she had anything to do with Jeremy's disappearance, but she claims that they had not been in touch for months prior to the time that he went missing. It says that Jeremy and Kim, the ex-wife, were on very good terms in 2007 despite their divorce. She did remarry after Jeremy's disappearance, and unfortunately she did pass away in 2016. And believe, and I think it's in that article that I'm going to read, I think it was self-harm, if I remember correctly. So although no evidence has surfaced to connect the two cases, it is worth noting once again that Jeremy and Ahren Barnard did have mutual acquaintances. And once again, Barnard disappeared in 2004, never been located. Jeremy's family does not believe that he would have abandoned his daughter. They do fear for his safety and believe that he may be deceased. Foul play is suspected in Jeremy's case, which remains unsolved. So if you do have information, you can call the Boise PD at 208-570-6290. All right, so now we get into the rabbit hole. Let's see, which do I want to read first? Let me see what this is. I had 3 things bookmarked, but I think I'm only going to use 2 of them. Let me look at this one right quick. I'm just going to read a few excerpts. This is from ucfiles.com. It's a Canadian website, Unsolved Case Files Canada. So in Jeremy's case, this Jeannie Braun, the attorney that he was allegedly having an affair with and recording conversations about illegal activities, she's considered a person of interest. So during some of the meetings the two had, Jeremy recorded her admitting to committing illegal acts. Jeremy joined the U.S. Navy. He served in the Gulf War between 1993 and 1999. While stationed in Japan, he met his first wife, Rena. They married, but that relationship quickly ended. She returned to Japan. So it says Jeremy was having some serious marital issues at the time of his disappearance. He married his second wife, Kim. They had the daughter. The marriage fell apart. They divorced. In 2007, he and the ex-wife, they remained good friends in order to raise the daughter. They continued to live together at his father's house. Okay, so a little bit. So here comes some of the connections. So we had so Jeannie, Jeremy had hired Jeannie to assist in the divorce proceedings with involving the first wife, Rena. So that's when they began having the affair, around the time that he separated from his second wife, Kim. So I'm telling you, it's you got to pay attention. So apparently, with some of the things that Jeannie, the attorney, got in trouble for, she pleaded guilty to forging a judge's signature on documents in a custody case. She was subsequently sentenced to 1 year in the Ada County Jail and 14 years on probation. She was also disbarred from practicing law in the state of Idaho. So following Jeremy's disappearance, Jeannie did take a polygraph test, but authorities did not release the results. Of course, she denied any involvement in his disappearance. She claimed that they had no contact for months. So on July 4th, 2016, Jeremy's ex-wife, Kim, who had since remarried, died of an apparent self-harm. Their daughter now lives in Boise with her stepfather. So that's just a little bit of information from that. All right, so I think this one is just some statements from Jeremy's mother. Oh man, isn't that gonna let me read it? Dang it. Let me go to the other one. I think the other one is what had all the rabbit hole stuff in it. Okay. Hopefully it'll let me read this one. Okay. All right. Buckle in, put on your tinfoil hats, whatever. So this is from KTVB.com. Cavalcade. Two boys and men went missing 3 years apart. An intricate web of connections might link their cold cases. And this is from March 2022. All right, so two men went missing in the early 2000s, and people invested in the case have speculated that they disappeared under the same mysterious umbrella of mutual connections. Ahren Barnard disappeared in 2004. Jeremy Burt in 2007. Mutual acquaintances still link them together. Two lawyers who were good friends, according to the police. So we had two lawyers with theories of a possible hitman and string of connections to multiple people. The web of mystery, growing larger over time, have put the cases in cold water for nearly 2 decades. So we'll start with Ahren. So the last time Ahren's mother, Vicky, talked to her son, she said he was in a good mood. He was eating macaroni and cheese. I'm in a good mood when I eat macaroni and cheese. So Vicky says, quote, "To this day, I cannot get the public interested in this case," end quote. So Barnard went missing on December 4th, 2004 at the age of 35, leaving behind his mother and his 2 children, plus a possible third child that may or may not be his. So Ahren, whose nickname is Benji, worked as a disc jockey at dance clubs. He helped out at the Vista pawn shop located in the Boise Bench neighborhood. As a firearms dealer, he did love working with weapons and trading parts for them. He did own multiple businesses in his lifetime, including a firearms store and a motorcycle shop. He was always finding a knack for something he was good at, and he was extremely creative, according to his mother. So Ahren was disinterested in school, but he had a passion for music. The only thing that helped him stay in school, was being a part of the orchestra and jazz bands, according to his mother. But regardless, he did pass his GED exams with flying colors, and he set out to find his next adventure, and apparently he found quite a few. So Ahren spoke with his mother on the phone the day before he went missing, and that was the last time that she heard his voice. His 3-year-old son was in the bedroom playing on his computer while his father cooked up the macaroni. His mother said he was lively. He was making plans for the next few days. So Ahren dropped his son off with the mother on December 4th at McDonald's off of Cole and Overland Roads. He then headed home to his residence, which was off of Sunderland Drive. His last call came around 7:15 p.m. According to Vicky and the Boise PD. Ahren was on the phone with a friend, a vet. According to Vicky, Ahren told a vet that he was on his way home when his roommate, Tyler Dean, called him. It's unclear what he and Tyler spoke about. Vicky says, quote, "Benji was not reported missing right away. That is my biggest regret. I'm so ashamed of that. But, he was 35 years old," end quote. And I mean, I can understand that, he's an adult. He can do what he wants to. So, I mean, she can't, I understand that she feels guilt, but she can't blame herself. However, Vicky said that when Ahren went missing, this Tyler Dean did take some of Ahren's furniture in the house. Odd. So in addition, a single computer chair in Ahren's room was not there the day that he disappeared. So Vicky believes that Ahren was a victim of a homicide, and that whoever the offender was disposed of his body with the chair from his desk. So maybe she thought that however his life was taken, he was in the chair and it left evidence, so they just got rid of the chair too. So Vicky also said that she heard rumors from a local businesswoman who knew this Tyler Dean at the time. Vicky said that around the time that Ahren went missing, Tyler had ran into a house that this businesswoman was at, exclaiming in a panic that something bad had happened. So Vicky remains suspicious of this interaction. Yeah, that if it's true, that's just a little suspicious. But then again, it might not have had anything to do with Ahren's disappearance. So in addition, Vicky said that this Tyler did have conflicting stories about the phone call that he had between him and Ahren that day. Around the same time, Vicky said Tyler had posted a message on his MySpace page. The post said, quote, "Remember, a good friend will help you move. A really good friend will help you move a body. Let me know if you ever need me to bring a shovel," end quote. So no one obviously has seen Ahren since then. Multiple attempts to contact this Tyler Dean through Facebook Messenger and at his residence were unsuccessful. So now we move to Jeremy. So Jeremy was last seen in the 2200 block of Harvey Street at 10:30 p.m. on February 11, 2007. Jeremy, who was 33 at the time, left his father's house. He was en route to a friend's home. He never arrived. This is according to his mother, Cheryl. Jeremy was a military man. He served in the U.S. Navy. He loved his daughter named Mackenzie. They said he was so in love with her when she was born that he wrote a poem about her. She says he never would have left his daughter. She said that Cheryl, the mother, loved Jeremy, obviously describing him as very stubborn, very stubborn. She says, quote, "You could tell them that if he went out there and climbed that tree, he might fall out and break his arm. He would go out there one day, he would fall out, break his arm, and he still would not believe you." So when Jeremy disappeared, his ex-wife Kim was the one that reported him missing. So she later passed away once again in 2016. She received these cryptic messages that she does not believe were from Jeremy, or that they came from his phone, but she does not believe that Jeremy was the one that sent them. So this messages once again said that he was leaving to start a new life, but she did not believe they were from him, and neither apparently did his mother. So Cheryl, his mother, said that the police did obtain Jeremy's phone records, which showed a 20-minute call made from a payphone in Mountain Home, which is about a half hour from Boise. Around the time of his disappearance, there were no security cameras outside the store at the time to confirm who this person was that made this call on the payphone. Former police detective Jeff Woodarky does not remember the phone call, but he did remember Jeremy's debit card was used a couple of times in Mountain Home. I'm assuming this is after he disappeared. Now, doesn't necessarily mean it was used by him. So in the months after Jeremy went missing, his 2003 Mercury Cougar was found burned in the Oahe Desert. There were many searches in the area where the vehicle was found. Woodarky never saw the car in person at the time. It said that he studied evidence photos extensively to track down anything of concern. The car was swabbed for evidence, but nothing came of it since it was so severely burned. Woodarky also sought out an arson expert to review the photos. Nothing came of that, so I don't know if they determined. I mean, obviously somebody set it on fire, I'm assuming. I mean, a car can just catch on fire by itself, but I mean, why was it out in the middle of nowhere? So Cheryl, who is Jeremy's mother, believes that there were two people involved in disposing of the car. She says it was too secluded of an area, and driving it to the location where it was found would have proven difficult. Yeah, so it was found in the middle of nowhere. Either they're, just my opinion, my thoughts, either as one person and they drove it out there and then just hoofed it back to civilization, which I don't find that plausible. Possible, anything's possible. Or that there's, two people, one was driving the car, another person in another car. They took it out in the middle of nowhere, set it on fire, both jumped in the car and took off. To me, that seems more plausible. So Wlodarski said the reason for the concealment of the car truly depends on what someone's theory is regarding Jeremy's disappearance. So Wlodarski says, quote, if you have the theory that something happened to Jeremy, then I would say, yeah, it was probably burned to conceal evidence. I don't see another reason to burn it. It was way out in the middle of nowhere. And then he says, the other theory, or the other line of thought, if he was just trying to get away, he just dumped the car and then you go do your thing. So to me, it concerns me that something happened to him and somebody did something to get rid of evidence in the car. So what do you guys think? To me, just my opinion, it makes more sense to me that it was something nefarious did happen, and whoever was involved took the car out in the middle of nowhere. Two people, in my opinion, took the car out in the middle of nowhere, burned it, like I said, to get rid of any evidence, and then jumped in the other car and took off. Because in my opinion, if it was just Jeremy just really just wanting to get away, start a new life, why not just park the car instead of taking it out in the middle of nowhere and setting it on fire? Just park it in the back of a parking lot at some kind of a business, a grocery store or something, and just leave it. And then you just leave. Why, if you just wanted to leave of your own accord, why would you take the car out in the middle of nowhere and burn it? To me, once again, my opinion, the only reason to take a car out in the middle of nowhere and burn it is to get rid of evidence. But as always, let me know what you guys think. All right, so Boise police spokesman Haley Williams said that detectives will continue to work on the two cold cases as tips come in. And once again, anyone with information is urged to contact the police. Okay, so now we get to the lawyers. So Krystyn Norris and Jeannie Braun were good friends in the early 2000s, according to Wlodarski. Both were divorced and family lawyers with potential mutual connections. Jeannie was considered a person of interest in the case of Jeremy Burt, and Constance Norris was interviewed in connection to Ahren Barnard's disappearance. So in a YouTube video posted by Into Darkness Northwest, which is a local crime investigative group, Norris maintained that she was not familiar with Ahren when the group questioned her at her home. When the Idaho Press visited Norris at her residence, she said she would not talk about Ahren and that she also does not know Jeremy. However, Aren's mother, Vicky, claims that Norris, this Constance Norris, knew Jeremy very well. So according to Vicky, she said that Constance Norris dated Ahren for a period of time. And also, according to Wlodarski, who is one of the law enforcement guys, she owned a motorcycle shop with Jeremy. So we keeping up. I'm confused too. So Constance Norris, who was good friends with Jeannie Braun, so supposedly, allegedly, Constance had a relationship with Ahren and owned a motorcycle shop with him, but then she claims that she knows nothing about him. So according to Ada County property records, there was a transfer of a deed between the two. Now, I don't know if it was a deed for the motorcycle shop or what kind of deed it was. So Vicky Barnard, Ahren's mom, says, quote, Constance Norris was in his house, sleeping in his bed when I was there on Christmas. She knows him. She was in business with him, end quote. So Norris and Ahren did have a falling out that was tied to the motorcycle shop, but it is unclear exactly what it was, according to Vicky. Norris had allegedly told people that she was the only owner of the shop at the time. So we go back to Ahren. It did say, I think in the Charley Project information, that he had said some kind of falling out with one of his business partners. So I'm assuming this is the falling out that they were referring to. So Hughes, Jeannie, the other attorney, allegedly had an affair with Jeremy for a short time, according to Cheryl, Burt, and Wadarky. So while Jeremy was in the process of divorcing his previous wife and trying to get married again, Jeannie came into the picture as his attorney. She was convicted of the forgery, destruction or concealment of evidence, and intimidating a witness, according to court records, which led to her being disbarred and spending time in, I think she did a year. So once again, Jeremy did tape record conversations with Jeannie about these illegal activities that she was involved in. He was going to testify against her, or he did testify against her for a grand jury before. She believes that this incident could have led to Jeremy's disappearance. So Wadarky said that he has statements from people who said that Jeannie and Jeremy were still in contact after she was released from jail. So the Charley Project said that Jeannie said that she had not been in touch with Jeremy in the months before he went missing. So Jeannie apparently now resides in St. George, Utah, where she owns a nutritional food business. She has never been charged in relation to Jeremy's disappearance. She did not respond to requests for comment for this article. Additionally, Vicky and Cheryl both said that the two lawyers had attended a wedding together with Ahren and Jeremy as their dates in the early 2000s, further solidifying the connection between the two. Cheryl also said that she believes that the man who lives in Utah was involved in Jeremy's disappearance and possibly assisted Jeannie if she had anything to do with Jeremy going missing. So this man allegedly dated or knew Jeannie. So Jeannie gets around for a short time, and he was interviewed by police, but he was never charged. So then there's this possible hitman. So a source who has asked to remain anonymous because he believes that there is a still threat to his life or to his safety, was close with a man in the early 2000s who was one of Ahren's business partners in the weapons dealership and the previous owner of the pawn shop on Vista Avenue. So this source believes that this man hired someone to take out Ahren or Ahren. Are we keeping up? I'm totally confused now, and I've read this a million times. So additionally, Jeannie was the sources. Jeannie's popping up everywhere. So additionally, Jeannie was this anonymous source's lawyer at one point, according to him. He also said that he has seen Jeremy before and believes that the name is familiar to him. So this business partner invested money into Ahren's business, according to this source. When Ahren supposedly came into a large sum of money regarding a specific part for a firearm desired by high-end investors. So lots of money. So Ahren apparently what they call crossed the investor by planning to take the money and cut him out of the deal. This is according to the anonymous source, which could have led to the investor taking out a hit on Ahren. So the source also believes that the business partner's son, who worked at one of the partner's pawn shops in Mountain Home, passed away the same way from knowing too much about something his father was involved in. Telling you, this is like a plot to a movie, but true, the true life is stranger than fiction. So the source says, quote, I believe that the business partner took out a hit on many people, Ahren being one of them. If I would have stayed, I would be in the same boat, end quote. So the source said that this investor had mines hidden near his pawn shop where Jeremy's last phone call was from, and that this is where Ahren's body could be. Additionally, Cheryl said that during Christmas one year, Jeremy had bought a television to give his daughter. He told his mother that he bought it at a pawn shop in the area. She said, which makes her suspicious of the ties surrounding both Ahren and her son's cases to this pawn shop. So this investor later passed away from health complications. So according to Into Darkness Northwest, this true crime group, someone did come forward to them about a local inmate with ties to a Chicago mob. So now we got the mob allegedly involved. So allegedly, the inmate told his previous cellmate that he took out a hit on Ahren and buried him next to a warming hut in Idaho City. So furthermore, another inmate in prison for homicide is said to have done collections for the business partner, according to this true crime group. It's another person that adds more suspicion to the web of possibilities. So Cheryl Burt thinks that something similar happened to Jeremy. She believes that someone took out a hit on him and then burned his car to destroy evidence, or that Jeannie, the lawyer, did something to him in retaliation for him testifying against her before the grand jury. All right, so former Boise Police Department Detective Brian Lee, who worked on Ahren's case, said his report is nearly 60 pages, which is extensive. He said, quote, I think there is foul play that has happened. There are so many things that could have happened, and nobody really has any recollection of anything or can point to one thing, end quote. He goes on to say, quote, we would run across stuff. It would be like, okay, that makes no sense. We look into it, and there's really never an explanation around it. So we never really got any momentum in any one direction, end quote. So Wadarkis said that cold cases like these are especially hard to work, since the one thing that could spark any action is new information. Some departments have cold case detectives, Wadarkis said, but the Boise PD does not have that luxury. So the Boise PD does not have any cold case detectives. He said there are so many different stories that they are hard to nail down. With Ahren's case, Wadarkis said there are so many versions. And with Jeremy Burt, he said there are fewer possibilities in Jeremy's case. But he says in the end, there just needs to be someone willing to speak out. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, if all these theories and allegations are true, somebody or somebody's plural knows something. And somebody has just got to get the cojones to come, say something. So Wadarkis said, we just weren't able to get enough leads to get, so I could charge somebody in a crime. I think you have to let people know that we are still waiting for that information to come out or for remains to be found. He goes on to say the hardest part is not being able to get closure for the family by far. That was my primary goal. First, I wanted to get closure for the family. Second, I want to prosecute somebody, and I just couldn't do either one. So Vicki Barnard said that she has not been able to declare Ahren dead yet, even though she believes that he is no longer alive. Wonder, isn't there a certain amount of time you have to wait before you can have someone declared legally deceased? She said, quote, "I still love him with every breath I take," end quote. So Cheryl Burt did declare Jeremy legally deceased on October 1st of 2018. She said, quote, "He did not deserve any of this. I never would have thought that I would be looking at this many years. I prayed to him all the time. I wish he'd send me some sign as to where he is at," end quote. So as of March of 2022, there were no new updates in either case, Ahren's or Jeremy's. And I don't think there's anything that I found after 2022 or so. So once again, anybody with information or tips on either case are encouraged to contact the Boise PD at 208-570-6000. So I told you this was a rabbit hole. I don't know, just something about all the connections and just taken separately, you know, it may look like nothing, but when you piece them together in the context of the two disappearances, you say, maybe, you know, kind of might make sense. It could have, you know, happened that way. I don't know. You let me know what you think. But yeah, just very, 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 like I said, it's like a movie plot, but it's not. Truth is stranger than fiction. So, let me get down to where I actually remember to mark. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Tomboy said good night. Miss Paula's still here. She's hanging in. Yeah, we got 12 people here. We're good. We're good. Oh, let me get a drink. Lord, that was a lot of reading, but I'm telling you. See, now I've gotten two different answers on how you pronounce that. Tomboy said Ahren, which is what I thought, alternate spelling of Ahren, and then somebody else said it was Ahren, Ahren. I don't know. Anyway, I think I said probably both, pronounced it both ways when I was reading that at some point. Okay, thank you. Yes. Going back to Jason's case, Z said we'll post the picture with the article on Jason on your Discord too. It shows a picture of the apartment in the pictures. Thank you. Yes, I will check it. Absolutely. Miss Marion's still here. Miss Tandy said good night. Good to see you again. Good to see you again too, Miss Tandy. I'm behind about 30 minutes of comments. Miss Farr still here listening, or she was. Sunday Doodles has got red flags. Miss Z's still around. Good. I haven't bored everybody to sleep, I guess. Oh yeah, you have to have a wrench to post a link. Let's see. Yeah, Sunday Doodle said, he's starting he's leaving to start a new life. Yeah, see, I just don't, this is just my opinion. Once again, I don't, the car being left out or taken out to the middle of nowhere and burned, if you were just leaving to start a new life, it would be just much easier and simpler just to take it, park it in the very back of a big parking lot, where it's not likely to be discovered for a while, and just leave it there. Why take it out to the middle of you know, now unless he committed a crime and he left evidence in the car, then that would be the only reason that I would. I never thought about that. I just thought about that. Now, if he had committed a crime in the car and was trying to cover up evidence, then yeah, I could see him taking the car out and burning it. But I don't know. Yeah. Night, John Boy. Tomboy said love triangle. Oh yeah, I'm telling you. You had Jeannie, you had the other lawyer, Constance, and then you had I'm telling you, Jeannie got around. Jeannie got around. Just saying. Paula says was if it'll come up. Oh, I had it there. Oh, damn it. Was the recording legal? See, I'm unclear on this recording things. I mean, you can record somebody. Now, whether or not it would be admissible in a court of law, I don't know. I know there are some kind of rules and regulations when it comes to recording people without their knowledge. So I'm unsure about that. That is an excellent question. And I wonder, did it say if he did those recordings before or after he testified against her in the before the grand jury? I don't remember. Okay, Miss Z has the answer. So Ms. Z says Idaho is a one-party consent state, meaning it is legal to record a conversation, whether in person or over the phone, as long as you are a party to the conversation. Gotcha. So would it be admissible in court since it is legal? So then I'm going to assume that if you record to other people talking and you are not involved in the conversation, then that would mean it would not be legal. But as long as you are a party in the conversation, then it is legal. Yeah, definitely red flags. Yeah, Z says, I wonder who knew that he taped his lawyer. You don't burn the car, you're right. That is interesting. Did it say? I've read so much. I don't remember. I've got so much in my head with these cases. Did it say? Let me go back to that shorter article, the summary, that first. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Hold on. I'm looking for it. So it says Jeremy hired Jeannie to assist in the divorce proceedings involving his first wife. They began an affair around the time that he separated from his second wife, Kim. He secretly tape recorded their conversations about illegal activities she was involved in. Their romance ended when he testified against her in court in 2004. So it does not say if anybody else knew that he recorded her, or if these recordings were admitted into evidence. That is a very interesting question or point. Yeah, exactly. Sunday says, besides, what man just burns his own car? I know. Like I said, it would be much easier if you just wanted to disappear, just park it in a random parking lot and leave it. I mean, you know, that is less suspicious than taking it out in the middle of nowhere and burning it. Miss Marion, agree with me on something. Oh, see, Cindy was thinking along my lines. I thought she said, unless he committed a crime and burned it to cover up the crime. Yeah. Yeah. That's also a possibility. Yeah. Sunday says, I don't have enough tinfoil for all this. Yeah, we need, that's what we need. We need our tinfoil hats. Ooh, I told you it was a rabbit hole. It was a rabbit hole. Oh, goodness. Oh, Miss Marion said I was doing great. Thank you, Mustang. Far still here. Wait, what? Is Jeannie at 675-309 here? What? Did I miss something? I haven't seen her around in a while. What happened to her? Okay, I think that was our last one. Yes, it was. Okay, we made it. We made it. Almost 4 hours. But hey, I'm telling you, I knew we were going to spend a lot of time on this Ahren and Jeremy thing, because that's a whole thing. All right. Anybody have any last thoughts, opinions, comments, whatever? Thank you, Z. High compliment coming from you. I appreciate it. Always. Thank you to Mustang, all the mods, especially Mustang, everybody who gets in the links for me and helps keep an eye on chat. I still have no idea what the thing with the treason was, but anyway. So yeah, I needed this tonight just to kind of get away from, take my mind off everything that's been going on. But now Wednesday, I think Wednesday we will, however y'all want to do it, handle it, whatever y'all want to talk about regarding what's been going on. And then I think I'll put together, I did find some articles and just discuss predators in general and what to look for, the warning signs, things of that nature, just to help bring more awareness to predators. But then we can also discuss our feelings, thoughts, whatever you guys feel comfortable divulging regarding the developing situation in our community. So we'll do that Wednesday night, barring any unforeseen thing that might come up between now and then. I don't see anything coming up, but you never know. Life happens, we know. Thank you. Yeah, that troll got blocked. Yeah. I mean, it's just random because we hardly ever have any trolls, but just randomly every once in a while somebody will come in and whatever. But I thank you for playing whack-a-troll. So, like I said, anybody who would like to join us. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Oh yeah, Mustang says storm season may be an issue. Yeah, I'm trying to think of when we're supposed to get storms again here in Central Arkansas. So, okay, so barring any storms that may either put me in the Frady hole, aka the storm cellar, safe room, safe shelter, or power going out, or the storms interfering with the cell service, we will tentatively, am I saying that right? Plan on the live stream Wednesday night. If something happens and we can't do it Wednesday night, I actually will be able to do a live Friday. I will have the house to myself Friday, or actually all weekend. Or we may do a live stream Wednesday and Friday. Who knows? We will figure it out. So yeah, I just think, and Wednesday, if we do it Wednesday, we'll discuss the predator thing. Friday, we may just come on just to hang out and just talk about whatever is on your mind. anything, doesn't matter. Just hang out, be together, whatever. Decompress. But we'll play it by ear. Yeah. Thank you, Mustang, for bringing up the storms. Yeah, you never know when the storm is going to pop up. Z says, remember, Professor McLeod said in our interview, if you know 100 men, you know 3 child creepers. That was a study done on the subject. Yeah, I mean, I'm just honestly, like I said, I don't want to get into it tonight. We'll get into it Wednesday, but I'm just never in a million years would I've just imagined. And I said it in my post. Once again, you can go read the what I posted on my community page. How could, knowing this person for at least for 2 to 3 years, how could I not see the signs, see any signs or red flags or any indication that something like this was going on? Allegedly, I'd say allegedly. I mean, I just, anyway, we'll get into that Wednesday. Thank you, Miss Marion. She says, nice to see you all. Thank you all for the work you do for the families. Thank you, Southern Gal. Good night, all my friends. Stay safe. Justice for all. Thank you, Miss Marion, for your continued support. Miss Paula wants to do both nights. We can do, like I said, barring any unforeseen things that come up, including storms. I'm up for doing Wednesday and Friday. Like I said, Wednesday will be serious, and then Friday we can just hang out. We can be serious Friday, or just hang out, be together, come together as a community, and work out our thoughts and feelings, and just hang out together. Just hang out together. Yeah, Mustang says, thanks everyone, be safe. Yeah, Mazzy says, because they hide in plain sight. I know. And I mean, I called this person like I said, I don't want to get into it tonight, but I called this person a friend. I trusted him. I asked him for advice on, not like personal advice, but like when I was starting my channel, things to do, things to not do, what I just, and I never even had an iota of suspicion about anything. I know I am too, Paula. Thank you. Mazzy said good night to the fur babies. The fur babies, I'm gonna have to check. They have been suspiciously quiet. So that means they either actually went to sleep or they're into something that they're not supposed to be into. Kind of like kids when they get quiet. Human kids. Anyway. All right, guys. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you to the lurkers. We love the lurkers. I know there are lurkers out there who watch and support. Thank you to replay crew. Once again, if you're a replay crew, leave a comment down below to let me know. Once again, tentatively scheduling Wednesday night and Friday night. Well, I'll keep an eye on the weather and everything and get stuff scheduled. But until then, hold on, let me trying to find my multitasking, which I'm not good at. So until then, like I said, just take care of yourselves, take care of your mental health. We'll get through this. This too shall pass, but we will. Ms. Z said in a comment, I don't know if it's on my post or several people have posted about this, that we will make awareness and call out who needs to be called out, most definitely. So until hopefully Wednesday, like I said, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be safe, be kind, just be a good human. I love you guys, and I will see you soon.